Today's Independence Bowl is a milestone game for head coach Bill Dooley and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Only 3 previous Wake Forest teams have gone to a bowl game in Wake's 91 years of football. This year's squad won 6 games in a row and went 7-4 to earn this postseason reward. For Bill Dooley, this is the final game of a 26-year head coaching career. A tour of successes that began before any of his current players were born. Emotions will be high on the Deacon side. Across the field, the Oregon Ducks and head coach Rich Brooks are making their 3rd bowl appearance in 4 years. Oregon has moved into national prominence with a fierce defense that is ranked 14th in the nation. 2 programs on the rise battle it out in the 17th Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl. ESPN welcomes you to Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana, for the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl, as today the Oregon Ducks take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, and it's great to have you with us. From all of us at ESPN, a Happy New Year to all of you. This is the first meeting ever between these 2 schools. As a matter of fact, it's the first time Oregon has ever played a team from the ACC, and the first time that Wake Forest has ever played a team from the Pac-10. But it didn't take long for these 2 teams to get to know each other when they arrived here in Shreveport earlier this week. At the Team Awards banquet on Monday night, they exchanged pleasantries and greetings, but fortunately no punches were thrown before the 2 teams were separated. And as we bring in Mike Gottfried, Coach, the problems in preparing for this game as a coach when you don't know very much about the opposition.
Well, Sean, I was going to say they didn't know each other, but they obviously do after that party. But when you don't play a team during the year and you really don't play a common opponent, it's tough to try to measure up. So I think the first part of the game would just be getting to know each other's strategies.
They are similar teams. Both teams like to run rather than pass when they are on offense, and both teams feature excellent defenses with strong people, particularly up front.
You're exactly right, Ron Franklin, Sean. But you're exactly right, and it will come down to which team plays the best defense, because if you can establish the run in this game, if you're Wake Forest or Oregon, you really have an advantage, because then you can throw the football, and they are running teams. And Oregon is led on defense by Romeo Bandison, the middle guard. Now, Wake Forest has to double team him, and that will allow the Oregon linebackers to run free. Just an excellent defensive player, Sean. On the other side of the ball for Wake Forest, Mike McCrary is their leading defensive player. He's a defensive outside linebacker. He's a pursuit-type tackler, and he'll make life miserable for the Oregon running game and passing game. And, Sean, this is so close it could come down to a field goal.
Good points, Mark. Let's go down to the field and check in with Steve Cyphers.
Sean, along with offense and defense, one has to consider the kicking game, and when you do, it appears Oregon has the edge because Oregon has Tommy Thompson. Thompson has booted 20 of 31 field goals this year, and of the 11 misses, 6 were for more than 50 yards. He did hit a 56-yarder as a field goal kicker, and he also punted a 76-yarder. Those are both season bests in the Pac-10 Conference. He was all Pac-10 as a kicker, second team as a punter. Tommy Thompson can do it all, and special teams coach Nick Aliotti says he doesn't fit the stereotype of the kicker. He's a football player. He's in the weight room like everybody else, and if it has to happen, if he has to make a tackle downfield, he can do that as well. The best thing about Tommy Thompson, at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, the crowd has a chant for the kicker, Tommy, Tommy. That's unheard of. Sean?
And all over the country, they chant for Chris Fowler, so let's check in the studio now in New Orleans with Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Fowler. Welcome to our ESPN Bowl Week headquarters at the New Orleans Center, just down the road from Shreveport. Behind me, of course, tomorrow, the national championship will be settled. Number 1 Miami against number 2 Alabama. We'll talk about all angles of that ball game at halftime when Tim Brando joins Lee Corso and Craig James. A reminder, Bowl Week coverage continues later on tonight, 7:45 Eastern Time, the kickoff show. Then the Liberty Bowl from just up the Big Muddy in Memphis. Hall of Fame Bowl is tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Boston College and Tennessee. The Peach Bowl, the 25th annual, and January 2nd, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And our New Year's Day college game day tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern as Craig James and Lee Corso join me. But after this, it's back to Shreveport We'll see if the Demon Deacons or the Ducks can back up all the trash trucking up there this week. Tim Brandon will join you at halftime, and see you then.
ESPN's presentation of the 1992 Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl is presented by Poland Weed Eater and Poland Pro brand products. Dependable outdoor power equipment you can count on. Welcome back to Shreveport. It has been a cloudy morning, but the sun is trying to poke through the clouds as the game approaches. Temperature expected to get in the high 60s this afternoon here in Shreveport for the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl. 66 degrees the temperature at the moment. There is a 30% chance of rain, and as you look down at the field today from our camera's vantage point, the winds will be blowing from the right of your screen to the left, and the wind is not much of a factor, as you can see by that flag blowing lazily in the breeze. Downtown Shreveport, we couldn't see that earlier this morning, but now as the clouds lift and the fog dissipates, we can.
Who's the most famous person you know from Shreveport, Louisiana?
Well, I know what you're setting me up to say, but I'd have to say Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But Tim Brando, our own Tim Brando, was selected as the 1992 Sportsman of the Year by the Shreveport Sports Foundation. Down on the field now, just in the nick of time, the Wake Forest Marching Band ready with the national anthem. The Wake Forest band with the national anthem. And from the far corner of the stadium, the Oregon Ducks are taking the field. They arrive in Shreveport with a record of 6-5. They needed to win in their rivalry game, the Civil War, as they call it in the state of Oregon, with Oregon State in the regular season finale to qualify for the Independence Bowl. The Ducks got off to a slow start this season. They lost their first 2 games, then won 3 in a row, and they also closed in strong fashion with wins in 3 of their last 4 games. You can understand the 0-2 start. They played quality opponents at the outset. Hawaii, the winner of the Holiday Bowl last night, and on the road at Stanford. Then got on track and finished with a win at Washington State. They really shut down Drew Bledsoe. They beat California, had a tough loss at home to UCLA, but bounced back with the rivalry win.
They started off against 2 teams that were very good on offense with good mix. And now they've really developed into a strong defensive team.
Rich Brooks in his 16th season as head coach at the University of Oregon. And he'll be opposed today by the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest, picked to finish last in the ACC by the members of the media in the preseason poll. They posted a record of 7-4. Like Oregon, the Demon Deacons started slowly. They won only one of their first 4 games, but as you could see, they had a tough early schedule. Then they rattled off 6 wins in a row, including wins over Clemson and Georgia Tech. Closed out the regular season with a loss at NC State. The Demon Deacons coming onto the field just now in this, the final game as head coach for Bill Dooley.
Should be a very emotional game for Bill Dooley and his football team. And as I watch the seniors go out for the toss of the coin, their arms are around each other. So a very emotional time for this ball club to get to a bowl, have the success they've had under this man right here, Bill Dooley.
We'll have the opening kickoff of the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl from Shreveport in just a moment. Back in Shreveport and ready to go with the Independence Bowl, Oregon and Wake Forest. And let's check in again with Steve Cyphers.
Sean, I had the opportunity to be in the locker room, the Wake Forest locker room, for Coach Bill Dooley's final pregame speech. I got it memorized. He said, "All right, let's go, man." And it was that simple, that quiet. His pacing was enough to let those guys know how important this game is to him.
Thank you, Steve. Bill Dooley told us yesterday he hasn't really thought much about this being his last game because he's been so busy with all the hoopla that surrounds a bowl game.
Well, I talked to some of the coaches on the field, and they said that he told his team he's playing with a fire in your hearts and a cool in your head today.
In his 6th season at Wake Forest is Bill Dooley, and in his 16th season at Oregon is Rich Brooks, who now also doubles as the athletic director at the University of Oregon. He assumed those chores in November. He says up to this point it has not been a problem balancing the responsibilities of head football coach and athletic director.
His next decision, whether he, as the athletic director, will give the head coach a bonus for going to a bowl.
I'd imagine he'd win that battle. Could sign his own contract extension. Tommy Thompson, as Steve Cyphers told you, could be a key in this football game before it is through. One of the best field goal kickers and punters in the nation, and he will kick off. Oregon won the toss and deferred its decision to the second half, so Wake Forest elected to take the football. And John Leach is back to receive the kickoff. He's a junior from Garner, North Carolina, averaging almost 18 yards per kickoff return. Thompson's a junior. Picks off barefoot, a style inspired by his watching Rich Karlis, the former Denver Bronco, when Thompson was a young man. A young boy, still is a young man. That's into the end zone, and it will be downed by John Leach. So Wake Forest will begin on offense for the first time at its own 20-yard line. And they're led by senior quarterback Keith West. He'll have Ned Moultrie and Wendell Wells in the backfield behind him to start the game. John Henry Mills, the tight end, is a first-team All-ACC player for the 3rd year in a row. And Ben Coleman, yesterday named the winner of the Jacobs Blocking Trophy as the best blocker in the ACC. That award voted on by the conference coaches. On first down, they give it to the tailback, John Leach. And he's ahead for 2 yards, and that's all. Defensively for the Oregon Ducks this afternoon, they play a 3-4, and Mike mentioned Romeo Bandison. He played only 1 year of high school football in Northern California after moving to this country from the Netherlands, where he grew up. Joe Farwell voted the team MVP this season for Oregon. He had an outstanding year. And in the secondary, Eric Castle was a preseason All-American. His season hindered somewhat by a battle with mononucleosis. Second down at 8. West looking to throw for the first time. Has a man, Todd Dixon. One man to beat, and he trips down. Alex Molden was in hot pursuit, and it looked like Dixon tripped himself up as he looked over his shoulder, trying to elude the grasp of Alex Molden. 60-yard play.
Well, Sean, when Keith West is at his best is when he doesn't throw interceptions. He threw 122 passes when they were going through their winning streak without an interception. Here he's on the sprint out and gets a good block from his fullback, Wendell Wells. Throws the ball off balance to Todd Dixon, number 8, who just got behind Alex Moulton. Then Alex Moulton makes the play and does not allow the touchdown.
Play down to the 19-yard line of Oregon. Longest reception for Dixon this year. Now they go to the option play, and West kept it down to the 16-yard line, a pickup of 3.
The toughest part of this game, and I said the same thing, Washington State and Utah, is trying to figure out the speed of the opponent in the first quarter, because you've been off since November 21st. You've worked against your scout team guys and not at full speed, and then all of a sudden, the first play, they just come off the ball faster than you've seen in practice. So you have to get used to the tempo of the game.
Second down at the 16-yard line. Inside the 10, pushed out of bounds by Eric Castle at the 7-yard line, a gain of 9 and another first down for the Demon Deacons.
John, the other part of this point is the fact that Bill Dooley's last game, you come on the field with a lot of emotion. The first series, if you can take it down and score, it's just a big advantage for Wake Forest here in the early going.
Stay with me now. Stay with me.
Bill Dooley retiring at age 58. He told us yesterday he has not ruled out a return to coaching. He isn't sure what he wants to do in the immediate future. First and goal from the 7-yard line. And flags fly. It is a Big East officiating crew today, led by the referee, Terry Monk.
Looks like the tight end, John Henry Mills, may have moved.
They've walked off at the moment about an 8-yard penalty. That's why Terry Monk is pointing back toward the goal line.
Dead ball foul. False start on the offense. Still first down.
It was indeed John Henry Mills, the senior tight end for Bill Dooley out of Tallahassee, Florida. That backs them up to the 12-yard line, first and goal. West looking to throw again. Out into the flat, incomplete, intended for Wendell Wells, the fullback. West has had a good year. We mentioned that these two teams are similar. The quarterback's similar too, as you mentioned. Both coaches saying yesterday what we like about our quarterback is he gets us in and out of the right plays and doesn't make key mistakes.
Well, Keith West will make a lot of changes at the line of scrimmage. We'll see some hand signals by him during this game to try to get him in and out of the plays that you're talking about, Sean.
Second and goal from the 12-yard line. We've played 2 minutes. Opening possession of the football game. Wake Forest on the move. Ned Moultrie on the move. Down to the 2-yard line. Eric Castle saved the touchdown for the Ducks.
When you look at this football game, you figure it's going to be won or lost in the offensive and defensive line.
There's a flag down in the end zone, Mike. There was some pushing and shoving after the play, and it was a late flag thrown by the officials.
Wake Forest running right behind Ben Coleman, their big 6'6", 310-pound senior. See how the hole opens up. Good block by Ben Coleman. Then Ned Moultrie just with the power running, and the tackle was finally made by Eric Castle, the fine free safety of Oregon. Look at him come off the ball. Wake Forest opened the hole for Ned Moultrie.
He was the leading rusher. Might have been a face mask at the end of the play.
We have dead ball, personal foul against both teams. It was a dead ball foul. They will offset. It'll be third down where the ball was dead.
I think they were continuing that argument they had at dinner the other night. Either food must have been bad there or something.
They had an oyster eating contest on Monday night. That might have contributed to the foul mood on both sides. And there's big Ben Coleman at 6'6", 310, a Kodak All-American, the first for Wake Forest since 1986. This is his first year as a starter.
By the looks of him, the food was pretty good.
Third and goal from the 1. 12:45 to play and a scoreless first quarter just underway in the Independence Bowl. Leach to the goal line, touchdown. John Leach, the junior from Garner, North Carolina, had 5 rushing touchdowns during the regular season and 1 now in the bowl game.
The emotional start for Wake Forest. They've been a team that's had focus all year. Bill Dooley announced his retirement at the beginning of the season. Sometimes that has a real adverse effect, but for this team, they've really focused, and the coach does a nice job of keeping the goals ahead of them.
Mike Green, the junior from Greensboro, adds the extra point. One more look at the touchdown by John Leach as we take our first commercial break within the action. 7-0 Wake Forest. ESPN ESPN's presentation of the 1992 Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl is brought to you in part by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of Lincoln luxury automobiles. And by Cordon Negro Brut from Freixenet. There's a party in every bottle. And this has been a festive week here in Shreveport. A festive opening drive for the Demon Deacons. It covered 80 yards in just 7 plays. The big play, the 60-yard pass from Keith West to Todd Dixon. Mike Green added the extra point after John Leach took it in from a yard out, and Wake Forest leads 7-0. Green will kick off. Rather, Wade Tollison, the punter, handles the kicking off chores, the senior from Augusta, Georgia. It's coming down to Sean Burwell on the 5-yard line. And he brings it out to the 26. The Ducks on offense, led by Sean Burwell, the leading rusher for each of the last 3 seasons for the University of Oregon. Danny O'Neill is a sophomore quarterback. Ronnie Harris, the senior from San Jose, a sprinter, 4th in the Pac-10 track meet in the 400 meters last spring. And up front, Mike DeFonso. Came to Oregon after Senate Junior College. He's 25 years old, just a junior as he lines up at strong guard. 1st and 10. They spotted Burwell down to the 27-yard line. Burwell. He's also the leading receiver for Oregon, and he's close to a 1st down at the 36-yard line, tackled by Kevin Giles. Now the Demon Deacons on defense. Mike McCrary, 2nd-team All-ACC player this year. He led the conference in tackles for a loss. Kevin Giles led the team in tackles this year with 116 despite missing the last game with turf toe. And George Coghill is a 2-time 1st-team All-ACC selection. 2nd down and 1. They picked up 9 on the opening pass play to Burwell. They did not pick up the 1st down with that run.
Sean, that's where Mike McCrary, number 98, is so difficult to play against, because when you run away from him, he is an excellent pursuit tackler. Told me yesterday, he said that I asked him, watch much film on the player you're going to play against? He says, I don't watch film. He says, I just on the first play, I want to smash him and find out what kind of heart he has. But Mike McCrary is going to play this whole game lights out.
He actually lost a yard on the carry by Burwell. So it's 3rd down and 2. Juan Shedrick. He's close. From this vantage point, he appears to have picked up the 1st down. Shedrick, the fullback, doesn't carry it much. Only 43 carries during the regular season. Only got 2 yards plus a couple of feet to give Oregon its first down. Clayton Millis, Doug Musgrave, two backup quarterbacks signaling in the plays to Danny O'Neill, a sophomore from Newport Beach, California. 1st and 10, Oregon. Wake Forest leads 7-0 with 10:45 to play in the 1st quarter. O'Neill with a play action pass. It was deflected and nearly intercepted by George Coghill, intended for Derek Detweiler.
Sean, most important thing about a bowl game is because you have so much time to prepare is, are you excited to play your opponent, or is your opponent more excited to play you? A perfect example of that is Fresno State the other night against Southern Cal. They were excited to play them. And Wake Forest and Oregon both just trying to feel each other out here. George Coghill almost picking that pass off.
Coghill, a senior from Fredericksburg, Virginia. 2nd down and 10 for the Ducks. Shedrick out to the 46-yard line, about a yard and a half short of the 1st down. Maurice Miller made the tackle.
Oregon going to a lot of formations, 1-back sets, and trying to spread out the defense of Wake Forest, and then able to run Juan Shedrick, number 24, the fullback, the little quick hitters.
Rich Brooks, 51 years old. graduate of Oregon State. Now at Oregon. Third down, a long one. It's nearly a yard and a half. O'Neal looked to throw for it and does. First down and more for Oregon. Crashing into Wake Forest territory, Vince Ferry, the tight end. Pick up a 14.
Both teams opening up a little bit more than they did in the regular season with their quarterbacks. Danny O'Neal was just a quick throw to Vince Ferry. Wake Forest was really bunched up to try to stop the run, and you can see how open Vince Ferry is coming off the line of scrimmage. And also, Sean Burwell, number 21, had 2 open receivers out there.
Ferry caught 17 passes during the regular season. One of the Oregon captains. The 7th play of the opening possession for the Ducks. Wake Forest needed 7 to score on its opening drive. Burwell through a big hole. He's heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon, 40 yards.
Sean Burwell, number 21. Look at the block by number 24, Juan Shedrick, which really opens up the play. And Mike DeFonso, number 65. Just nice blocking at the point of attack, led by the fullback. Here's Sean Burwell again. Now watch, read the blocks, then he's in the secondary. And the free safety was cheating over to the tight end side. And Sean Burwell has a race to the end zone.
Tommy Thompson. Missed only 1 extra point this year. High snap. Had a good job by Doug Musgrave, the holder, to come down with it. And we have a tie game. An impressive opening drive for each side. The Duck drive capped by the 40-yard touchdown run by Sean Burwell. One of the highlights of Independence Bowl week for the players on both sides, a trip to visit the patients at the Shriners Hospital for crippled children here in Shreveport. Oregon made the visit on Monday. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons dropped in on Tuesday, and they really helped to lift the spirits of the youngsters at the Shriners Hospital.
So many good things happen in college football, and when you see those scenes, I mean, you just can't put into words what it does mean to those young kids.
Sean Burwell with the 40-yard touchdown run. Good mix of the run and pass on the 7-play drive. 4 runs and 3 passes, and each team impressive early.
Both teams have been able to run the football, and that's the key for both offenses, because they're not teams that got here passing the football. They're teams that run the football strong.
Tommy Thompson puts the foot to it. Another kick into the end zone that will be downed by John Leach. And for the second time in as many possessions, the Demon Deacons will open at their own 20-yard line. Danny O'Neal on the phone to the press box with offensive coordinator Mike Bellotti. Keith West with some final instructions from Bill Dooley. Bill Dooley with 3 winning seasons in his 6 years at Wake Forest. That might not sound overly impressive to some fans. Bear in mind, Wake Forest has only had 9 winning seasons in the last 40 years. 2 of those in the last 6 under Dooley. John Leach picks up a first down, picks up 12 yards. Out to the 32, Chad Cota and Eric Castle, the safety, called upon to combine on the stop.
Sean, they're starting out. They're successfully running the ball against the defense that was very strong in the Pac-10 against the run. Only gave up 122 yards rushing a game. And something has to do with the layoff you have in preparing for a bowl game. You don't tackle. It looks like they're arm tackling a lot, but they're getting knocked off the ball by the Wake Forest offensive line.
Leach and Moultrie alternated tail pass. Leach came out after picking up 12. And we're back to the fullback, Wendell Wells. And that's a sizable gain out to the 38-yard line. 6 yards on first down for Wendell Wells, the sophomore from Hamlet, North Carolina.
And when you take 11 tapes and films and you exchange them, you can take, because of the time advantage you have, you can take a little bit out of the Stanford film, you can take a little bit out of the Washington State film. a little bit out of USC film so you can put more offense in. And both teams told me they're going to show a lot of new things early in the game today.
2nd down and 4 for Wake Forest. 7-7 the score as we approach the midpoint of the first quarter. Oregon coming on a blitz. West ran away from it, looking for Mills, the tight end, and he made the acrobatic catch in Oregon territory at the 37-yard line.
You were right, Sean. The blitz did come, and the man coverage, John Henry Mills versus Chad Cota, number 7. And Keith West gave him a little pump and turned upfield. John Henry Mills was running an out and then turned upfield. Keith West coming out, now he motions, the motion now, the little pump there, and now he throws the ball because John Henry Mills readjusted his route. See Chad Cota trying to knock the ball away, but Mills is 6'1", 220 pounds.
1st and 10. Wake Forest at the Oregon 37. Ned Moultrie rushed for 717 yards this season. He was Wake Forest's leading rusher. Romeo Bandison made the stop.
And this can only help both the quarterbacks. Keith West is a senior, and they didn't throw a lot during the season, but all of a sudden he's getting off to such a start that his confidence level has to be high in throwing the football. On the other side of the ball, Danny O'Neal, the sophomore quarterback for Oregon, had a nice first series. So both quarterbacks benefiting from confidence here early in the game.
Gain of 1 for Moultrie. 2nd down and 9 for the Demon Deacons. Plenty of time for West as he goes deep. Into double coverage, it's intercepted. First of the year for Eric Castle. And he brought it all the way out to the 32-yard line. A 27-yard interception return for Castle.
Well, Keith West got a little bit too confident and was able to throw this deep ball and just put it in the air too long. And Eric Castle, free safety, down on the field early in the practice. He's 6'2", 208. He looks like Nolan Cromwell in the secondary. You see Keith West just throws the ball. This was not a pass. Bad decision. Eric Castle, number 12, picks it off and then picks up good yardage to get his offense back on the field.
And on the play, Todd Dixon, the intended receiver, was injured. He is being helped off the field now by the Wake Forest training staff. And grasping at his right wrist. Eric Castle had, in his own words, a disappointing season. We mentioned that he was suffering from mononucleosis during preseason workouts, didn't participate at all in the summer practices, and did not play in the first 2 games, and didn't have an interception this year after having 4 last year. That's his first.
Sean, he started out as a receiver at Oregon, makes all the calls and checks in the secondary, but he's 6'3", 210, runs a 4.5 40, so they missed him when he's not in there. He's just a leader of the defense.
He is still regarded as a pro prospect. He'll play in the East-West Shrine game in Palo Alto in January. There was a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct against Oregon after the play was over. They walked off the 15 yards back to the 17-yard line, and it's 1st and 25. 7-7 the score with 7 minutes to be played in the first quarter. Burwell was forced to cut back inside as he was approaching Maurice Miller, and the play gained 1.
When you're up here in the press box, the Oregon coaches are going to look down. They're going to say, we're not blocking Mike McCrary on the backside. He's making the play. So Oregon, you might look for him to run more at McCrary to try to slow him down a little bit because he's such a good player pursuing the football.
McCrary's been a starter since his sophomore year. He's a senior now from Vienna, Virginia. Second and 24. O'Neal dumps it off the screen to Burwell. He's down to the 28-yard line. And a flag thrown right where he was hit. It might have been a late hit against the Demon Deacons.
I'm sure these officials saw that tape of that little dinner the other night and know they have to control this game early.
Dead ball, personal foul, illegal helmet contact against the defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Trying to get this game under control, the officials.
So Oregon able to overcome the 1st and 25 situation because of the penalty against Wake Forest for spearing. Ball out at the 44-yard line now. 7-7 the score. 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Burwell out to the 46, tackled by Dred Boo, the nose guard. Here's Steve Cyphers.
Well, Sean, the reason the offense is on the field now is because of the Oregon defense and what they did. They said they figured things out from the first series. They didn't make any great adjustments. They just decided to react to the blocks. The reaction time was bad, so on the running play, they didn't squeeze down if the guy was blocking down. And when it comes to Keith West, the quarterback, Terrell Edwards said he's a much better thrower on the rollout than they first anticipated. He compared him to Ty Detmer, whom they faced a couple of years ago. Sean?
That's high praise indeed. They had a couple of big completions on rollouts in the opening moments of this game. Ricky Whittle, who divided time with Burwell at tailback, touches the ball for the first time today for Oregon, and he was tripped up by Kevin Giles at the 47-yard line.
Oregon's game plan offensively looks pretty simple. They're trying to go to the split inside. They're running the ball to the split inside, and they're throwing the ball over there because Wake Forest overshifts to the tight inside, which makes it a little easier to go to the split inside.
3rd down and 7 for Oregon. 7-7 the score. 4:40 left in the first quarter. Man open, first down, Ducks. Christian McLemore with just his 6th catch of the year. It picked up 14.
Went to 4 receivers in the ball game. Danny O'Neill's off to an excellent start here, the 6'2 sophomore. He's going to find Christian McLemore just on a quick slant pass. Oregon gave up 45 sacks during the year, and they told me that Danny O'Neill will take a sack, not throwing the ball away as much as they'd like to. But today, the start of this ball game, it's 5 out of 6, and no one's getting close to him.
Completed 55% of his passes during the regular season. That's better than that in the early going here. Take the reverse to Deadweiler, dumped it off to Whittle. He's in trouble and down at the line of scrimmage. Play well read by the Wake Forest defense, particularly Ron Lambert, the senior cornerback, number 20.
A lot of misdirection on that play. Ron Lambert did a nice job of staying home. Number 20, the 5'10", 190-pound senior. 3 out of 4 defensive backs for Wake Forest are seniors, so they're experienced in the secondary.
2nd and 10. Oregon at the Wake Forest 39. Juan Shedrick, junior, picked up a couple, but it's 3rd and long again upcoming for Oregon. Rich Brooks has coached some excellent quarterbacks in recent years. Chris Miller now at the Falcons. Bill Musgrave, who's gone on to professional football.
He has to like the way Danny O'Neill's developing. When you have a sophomore, you can only get better. And just like the way he started this football game, he started with a lot of confidence.
3rd down and 7. Blitz. He dumped it off. Complete. Look for no gain on the play. Ronnie Harris, the receiver.
That's the area of the game they've had the most trouble in, is pass protection. And the blitz came. Danny O'Neill read the blitz. Kevin Giles on the blitz. Threw the little short pass. Not enough to pick up the first down, Sean.
Danny O'Neill came into this game needing just 75 yards passing, become the 4th Oregon quarterback to pass for 2,000 yards in a season. The other guys are Chris Miller, Bill Musgrave, and Dan Fouts, so that's pretty exclusive company. Thompson doubles as the punter. He does not punt barefoot. He says he doesn't have as good a feel for the football with the barefoot when he's punting. Punched with the shoe and had a bit too much on that one. It's into the end zone, a 37-yard punt. But Wake Forest will start for the 3rd time in as many possessions, the 20-yard line. When we come back to the Independence Bowl in Shreveport. In 1989, a wind chill of 14 degrees did not stop an Oregon Duck comeback. Quarterback Bill Musgrave passed for 320 yards, but his 1-yard touchdown run tied the game. Greg McCallum's 20-yard field goal was the winning margin as Oregon and coach Rich Brooks left with the victory over Tulsa and the Independence Bowl trophy. There's still a few Ducks who participated in that Independence Bowl game in 1989 who are on the roster here today. A lot of fans have made the trip from the Pacific Northwest. First and 10, Wake Forest from its own 20-yard line with 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Wendell Wells. Neither fullback was featured much by these offenses during the regular season. Both Shedrick and Wells have been called upon regularly here in the first quarter.
Trying to spring on the fullback quickly on the defensive line because both defensive lines are so strong. Trying to sneak them through on trap plays and quick hitting plays.
Wells only carried it 46 times during the regular season in 11 games. He gained 2 on first down, second and 8. Ned Moultrie. Flag thrown. Ball is loose. Oregon runs it in. No signal yet. It is a touchdown, say the officials now, for Herman O'Berry. But will the play stand? There was a flag thrown right in the pile where Moultrie went down and lost the football.
Looks like it's going to be on Wake Forest, the way the players are reacting. I think the officials got caught.
The officials have had a tough time getting on the same page today. They worked together as a crew all year.
Give it to me again.
It's going to be 1993 before we get the call.
On the offense, at the snap, the fumble was recovered and returned for a touchdown. The touchdown will stand. The 5-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Herman O'Berry, the sophomore from North Highlands, California, with the fumble return for a touchdown. And Bill Dooley will have at least one last animated conversation with the officials before his retirement.
Well, that won't be his last one today, the way they're starting off. Let's see the way this play develops. It is a fumble. Ned Moultrie drops the football. Herman O'Berry strips it, number 4, and then picks it up, runs in the end zone for the touchdown.
And Tommy Thompson will attempt to add the extra point. And Musgrave rolls out with it, had trouble with the snap, and it's intercepted. Wake Forest can run it back now. Richard Goodpasture running out of gas, and he is caught from behind. Paul Jensen, a reserve outside linebacker, tracked him down.
Another player that was chasing fast, Tommy Thompson, number 3, the kicker, would have had an angle to make the play also. But when you have a 2-point, or when you have a kick for an extra point and the snap is bad and the snap is dropped, quarterback and the holder then will make a call. He'll yell, fire, fire. So the 2 outside players will release as pass receivers. He tried to throw the football. It was tipped. And number 28, Richard Goodpasture, picks it off. Now he can score and add some points. You see the kicker, Tommy Thompson, number 3. I like him. Now there's a kicker that's not giving up. The coaches said he's a regular football player. You know, a lot of kickers, they say, are flakes. He said, this guy is a player. Well, I like the fact he did not stop. He was trying to make an effort to make that tackle.
And Richard Goodpasture, the sophomore from Roanoke, was almost the hero for Wake Forest. College Bowl Week continues here on ESPN tonight. The kickoff show at 7:45 Eastern, followed 8 o'clock by the Liberty Bowl as 20th-ranked Mississippi takes on Air Force. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. it's the Hall of Fame Bowl. The 16th-ranked Boston College Eagles battle number 17 Tennessee, and on Saturday it's the special silver anniversary of the Peach Bowl, featuring number 24 Mississippi State and number 19 North Carolina. All that right here on ESPN. Most of those games worked by Mike Godfrey. You're looking well for a guy who's been on a busy tour.
Well, thank you, Sean. That's nice of you to say.
Tommy Thompson's had a busy quarter.
Even though I called you Ron at the beginning. Sean, Ron, Jack, Pete.
Well, you've worked with Ron all year. It's understandable that habits could be formed.
Enjoyed being with you again.
Great to see you again, Coach. Yep, it's through the hands of Leach. Again, Thompson is a weapon. They have not been able to return any of his kickoffs, and he's had 3 of them now this afternoon.
Sean, another effect in this ball game that we could talk about a little bit more as the game goes on is the assistant coaches for Wake Forest. We've all talked about Bill Dooley's retiring, but the assistant coaches are affected. And at a time when you should be celebrating a bowl game and your family's enjoying it, these assistant coaches are all looking for jobs now because they're out. And there's another coach coming in here, Jim Caldwell, so it has to affect preparation. It has to affect your families.
Wake Forest, for the 4th time, starts at its own 20. Trailing for the first time in the game, 13-7. John Leach did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Nice play by Joe Farwell, who won the Hoffman Award at Oregon this year as the team MVP. Here's our MVP, Steve Cypress.
Very nice of you, Sean. On the sideline, you see Todd Dixon, the big play receiver for Wake Forest. He's out right now because he jammed the knuckles on his right hand. It hurts to make a fist or to try to catch the football. He doesn't know when he'll be able to return.
Dixon's a junior. Doing a deep threat out of Billerica, Massachusetts, the hometown of Tom Glavine, the outstanding pitcher of the Atlanta Braves, a former Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah, I knew you were going to get some baseball in here.
And a plug for my home state as well. West threw on the run and hit Leach, swinging out of the backfield out to the 26-yard line. They'll need 4 on 3rd down to pick up a 1st down.
Keith West, the quarterback, has had success rolling to the right. Made all his completions to the right. The one interception he threw, if you remember, was the roll out to the left. He threw across his body. So he looks more comfortable coming to the right and throwing the sprint out pass.
20 seconds left in the 1st quarter. And the clock is stopped as Leach went out of bounds. 13-7 Oregon. 3rd and 4. Roger Pettis, the man in motion. And it is complete. And it appears to be a 1st down. They'll give Marlon Estes the forward progress just beyond the 30-yard line before he was knocked back by Herman O'Berry. 1st and 10 for the Demon Deacons.
I'm sure Herman O'Berry's thinking to himself, if I just broke on that ball a little bit earlier, I'd have had an interception, because rolling to his left, Keith West didn't get much on that ball to Marlon Estes.
That will be the final play of the 1st quarter. Plenty of action in the opening 15 minutes, and at the end of 1 quarter here at Shreveport, Louisiana, the Oregon Ducks lead the Wake Forest Demon Deacons 13-7. Welcome back to the 17th hole in Weed Eater Independence Bowl in Shreveport. Oregon leads 13-7 after 1 quarter.
We're going to see Ben Coleman, Sean, left tackle, number 79. Watch how good feet he has. The fact is, at left tackle, you like the left tackle to be a guy who moves around so well because he protects the blind side of the quarterback in a drop back pass. And that makes him a possible one of the top 12 guys in the draft this year, because he's so valuable and can pass protect on the left side of an offensive line.
And his quick feet helped him as a member of the Wake Forest basketball team as well back in the 90-91 season for Coach Dave Odom. Back to John Leach. And he's out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A gain of 5 on 1st down for the Demon Deacons. Alex Molden knocked him out.
And that Wake Forest team that he played on was 19-11, so he did play on that team. So, and when you're 19-11 in the ACC in basketball, that's a pretty good basketball team to be a part of.
And Wake Forest continues to have an excellent basketball team. They have a very proud golf tradition at Wake Forest. Arnold Palmer, Lanny Watkins, Curtis Strange, Leonard Thompson, Billy Andrade.
What position did they play? Oh, golf.
Golf. West threw it away. And is there a flag? No. Apparently John Leach was close enough. Jeff Cummins was in pursuit of Keith West.
You remember, we just showed you the replay of Ben Coleman pinning a player. That was Jeff Cummins. So Jeff Cummins came right back and put some pressure on Keith West. And I'm going to say it again, Sean. He's having trouble rolling to the left. He's not as adapted going to the left, which you wouldn't be if you're a right-hand quarterback. But he doesn't get squared up to the line of scrimmage to throw the ball when he runs to the left side to throw it.
Jeff Cummins, the most inspirational player for Oregon this year, is voted by his teammates. And whistles stop the play with the Demon Deacons looking at 3rd down and 5.
John, Bill Masco on the sideline, a Wake Forest assistant, was a coach for Oregon 2 years ago. He was working on the defensive staff of defensive coordinator Denny Schuler, and I was on the field before the game, and they were kidding each other, and Bill Masco says, "Denny, you still got the same signals?" Same terminology. That's Bill Masco right there with the headset on. He says, "I'm going to watch your signals over there." And Denny Schuler says, "I forgot all about that." So they had a lot of kidding before the ball game, the coaches.
Todd Dixon has returned to action with that injured hand for Wake Forest. 3rd down and 5 for the Demon Deacons. Oregon leads 13-7 in the opening seconds of the 2nd quarter. West, that's complete for a 1st down to Ned Moultrie. A 6-yard gain when they needed 5.
Wake Forest, they're going to try to sneak the back out on the little drop back pass. You see the linebacker here. He's responsible for Ned Moultrie. The little fake to Ned Moultrie. Now the linebacker versus him. That's Joe Farwell. And just a little pass for the 1st down. Nice throw by Keith West. A little one-on-one versus the linebacker.
At this point, Wake Forest has only passed on 1st down once. They're doing it for the 2nd time, and it works. John Henry Mills, the tight end, out of bounds with a 1st down in Oregon territory at the 46-yard line after a gain of 13. Chad Cota knocked him out of bounds.
Sean, you have a good point because they have run the football on 1st down. I think this is a checkoff because they saw the blitz coming. You see the linebacker sneak up, and you see the blitz is going to come from the backside. There's a late blitz by number 39, David Massey, and John Henry Mills one-on-one versus the strong safety again, Chad Cota. And Wake Forest wins the battle again.
1st and 10 for the Demon Deacons. This is the 8th run on 1st down for Wake Forest as compared to the 2 1st down passes. It was Ned Moultrie in his best game this year against Army when he rushed for 149 yards, the highest single game total by a Wake runner in 5 years.
Take a look at Romeo Bandison on this play, the big middle guard. 6'5", can really move around. You see him, number 97, 280 pounds, 4'7", played 1 year of high school football like you mentioned, and they thought he was going to have another year. He didn't, and that's Oregon recruited him in the summer. Just a big load in the middle that you have to double team.
In his 1 year of high school football, his team went 0-10. John Leach thrown down at the line of scrimmage. And it was Bandison, the nose guard, the junior from Mill Valley, California, but originally from The Hague in the Netherlands.
Well, they moved him over on that play on the guard, so they only single blocked him, and you can't single block Romeo Bandison. You're going to see him here, block on Romeo Bandison, one-on-one. You'll see him come off the block and make the tackle. You can't handle him one-on-one, Sean. You have to double him. Kevin Smith was against him, number 70, the offensive guard.
Came to this country as a senior in high school as an exchange student in California. On 3rd and 8, West. Complete to Leach. He's banged out of bounds by Eric Castle short of the 1st down. And Eric Castle might have had a subpar regular season by his standards, but he's had a terrific 1st half.
I don't know if there's going to be another Nolan Cromwell, but Eric Castle's the closest I've seen in a long time. He's big at 208 pounds, 6'2", makes a good tackle there, and I think he's going to force Bill Dooley into an early decision. I think he's going to go for this on 4th down.
It appears that he will. A couple of backup tight ends coming into the game.
It's his last game. The alumni can't question him anymore. I'm going for it.
You can do whatever you want today when you're walking away when it's over.
The brother of Vince Dooley is from Mobile, Alabama. The Dooleys are very proud of them in Mobile.
4th and 2, 11th play of the possession. They pitch it to the receiver coming around, Travis Johns, and he has the 1st down. Alex Molden, the tackle. Well-executed play. Some trickery out of the playbook of Bill Dooley. And a first down for Wake Forest at the 28-yard line.
You can call those plays when you don't worry about the alumni anymore or the athletic director. Eddie Williamson, the offensive coordinator, who's going to North Carolina to coach with Mac Brown next year, calls the option play to Travis Johns and worked perfectly for the first down.
You mentioned Eddie Williamson. At the moment, he is the only member of the assistant coaching staff of Wake Forest who has a job lined up when this game is over. And as Mike mentioned, that's most unfortunate given that these coaches should be rewarded for the 7-4 season that they've had. Into a crowd again. Mills, the tight end, outstretched, made a great catch. Showing you why he's caught more balls than any tight end in ACC history. John Henry Mills with the acrobatic catch, a yard short of the first down.
I talked to John Henry Mills yesterday. You're going to see him. He blocks, gives the idea that's a play away from. Now the scramble rule becomes involved because he's a late decision to throw the football to him. But did you see him keep his feet in bounds? But I asked him yesterday, I said, who on the Oregon defense in the secondary impresses you most? He says, the nose tackle. I said, he's not in the secondary. He said, he impresses me the most off of the film. And he's talking about Bandison.
2nd and 1. Another impressive drive by Wake Forest. Oregon leads 13-7. Leach skips ahead for the first down. He's down to the 16-yard line. Ron Leach started the first 5 games of the year at tailback before being slowed by a leg bruise. That's when Ned Moultrie started to take over some of the time. Mills coming back into the game. And lately, Moultrie and Leach have been dividing time at tailback, and that has been the case today.
When you run the toss sweep, you need a good block out of the fullback. And Wendell Wells, number 24, was right on the money with a block on Chad Cota, number 7, on that play.
1st and 10. Demon Deacons on the move. With 12 minutes to play in the first half. West under pressure. Throws it into a crowd again. Touchdown. One official says touchdown. The other said incomplete. Now they get on the same page, and there's also a flag thrown there.
Sean, this is going to be interesting because the 2 officials that were right on the play didn't make a call on interference. I think it came from the side judge way down the field. Looked to me like it was offensive interference on John Henry Mills.
We had three officials involved in the play. One said incomplete, one said touchdown. The other guy threw a flag from further away.
Now they've had a layoff since November 21st.
And you're right, it was against Mills for pushing off on Chad Cota.
I tell you, that's a great call by that official because that's what it looked like. Let's see what we see on the replay. Again, Keith West throws across his body. You see the little push there on Chad Cota by John Henry Mills. I tell you, that's a good call from where it came from by the official. I credit him.
And one official nearest the camera signaled touchdown. The other said incomplete. And the 3rd official, the one furthest from the play, made the right call on the push-off.
There's a touchdown, there's incomplete, and there's interference. Got it all.
It backs up Wake Forest to the 31-yard line.
The one Bill Dooley didn't want was called.
Wake Forest affected much more greatly by the penalty yardage to this point. 2nd down and 25 now. They go to the draw with Wendell Wells. And didn't yield much. He crossed the 30. They gave him the 29 before he was driven back. Tony Coker, the backup linebacker, number 43, who was checked in, was in on the play.
Focus of the football team. Bill Dooley said this team has stayed focused all year. Really have played hard, and to get to a bowl game for Wake Forest, I mean, it's quite an honor. This ball club, the seniors, have a lot to be proud of.
It's the 4th bowl game in the 91-year history of the Wake Forest football program. The first since 1979 when a young coach named John McAvey took them to the Tangerine Bowl. Todd Dixon makes the quick toss from West. He's well short of the first down, out of bounds at the 21-yard line.
Todd Dixon, number 80, junior receiver. Good catch. Alex Molden, number 1, knocks him out of bounds. And you're talking about John Macvick as we get set for the field goal. Ernie Accorsi, Pat Williams of the Orlando basketball team, Billy Packard. They were all at school there at the same time. So you talk about sports people coming out of Wake Forest, and you mentioned the golfers.
Mike Green with a 38-yard attempt. Certainly long enough, and right down the middle. Mike Green says Tommy Thompson isn't the only excellent kicker in this game today. And the three-pointer for Wake Forest brings the Demon Deacons back within 3. On the banks of the Red River is the Sports Museum of Champions, where Shreveport and Bossier City pay tribute to their many great sportsmen. More than 90 individuals are on it, including native son Terry Bradshaw and former centenary basketball star Robert Parrish. It's a terrific place in this wonderful area. The population, Shreveport and Bossier City combined, about 250,000.
Sean, Tommy Thompson with that punt that ends up on about the 7-yard line doesn't show in statistics what he accomplishes for this football team, but he's a weapon as a punter and a place kicker. Rich Brooks says he's the best kicker I've ever had, NFL or college. He said he has the leg and the temperament. So I think that's an outstanding punt by him to knock it out there on the 6-yard line.
And because of his kickoffs and that punt, the average starting field position for Wake Forest has been its own 17-yard line. They start from their own 7 this time. And John Leach powers it out to the 12. Here's Steve Cyphers.
Sean, the Oregon defense wanted a little bit more time to take a break and recollect their conditioning after the offense took the ball. They run that last drive 17 plays. It's hot and humid down here. I asked Kevin Smith, the Wake Forest offensive lineman, did the Oregon defense seem tired? He said, yeah, just about as tired as we were. It's more muggy and more humid. And Ernest Jones said, if they give us a little more time out here to catch our breath, we'll be better off. They had to go back out there. Much different situation than a couple of years ago when it was a 17-degree wind chill factor.
That's correct. Those who were here with Oregon back in 1989 undoubtedly prefer this, even though it is a bit on the muggy side. It's a temperature about 70 degrees. Leach battles out to the 14-yard line. He'll still need 3 on 3rd down to move the chains. David Massey, number 39, the junior from Vancouver, Washington, made the tackle.
Wake Forest just continues to run the football. That's their game. Their game is to not make a lot of mistakes, play good, sound defense, and to run the football and wear you down in the ball game.
Seven minutes to play in the first half. 13-10 Oregon. 3rd down and 3 for the Demon Deacons. Leach lost the football. Oregon has it at the 10-yard line. Herman O'Berry, who ran in a fumble for a touchdown earlier, recovered at the 10.
Can't make these kind of mistakes in any kind of game. In a bowl game, you get a 3rd and 3 situation. Here's the toss sweep. Number 4, Herman O'Berry, is there to take on the play. John Leach just looks like he just drops the ball. A little bump there, drops the football, and gives Oregon the ball on the 10-yard line. Let's go back to the punt. Tommy Thompson's the one that set this whole thing up for Oregon.
Looked like O'Berry might have just gotten a finger on the ball as he went pawing at it to pry it loose, and then he recovered. That is incomplete. Bounced around, intended for Ricky Whittle. Bounced around in traffic. There was a chance perhaps for the Demon Deacons to pick it off for Bill Dooley.
Ricky Whittle's the second tailback, only has 6 receptions coming in this game, but he's more of the power runner. Now they're taking him out of the ball game and bringing in Sean Burwell again.
Whittle has a promising career ahead of him at Oregon. He's just a redshirt freshman out of Fresno. Juan Shedrick, the fullback, down to the 4-yard line. 3rd and goal upcoming for the Ducks from the 4. Lamont Scales took him down for Wake Forest.
Good block by Steve Harden, number 77, who's 6'7", 300 pounds. Just followed Steve Harden on that play. They go to the 1-back set. They spread out Wake Forest on defense and sneak Juan Shedrick in on a little quick hitting play. See if they go right behind him again.
3rd and goal from the 4. Oregon trying to build on a 13-10 lead. Incomplete. It was intended for Anthony Jones in the end zone.
They picked on the 2 sports star, the baseball player, football player, George Coghill, number 3. All ACC corner. They tried to pick him. They tried to bring both receivers, one inside, one outside. But you're going to see number 3, George Coghill, with a good move with his left hand. And who's back on the field?
Your guy, Tommy Thompson.
I like him. As I watched him on the field, the ball explodes when he hits it. It's just like an explosion. Boom!
And he's lining up what is really a glorified extra point, a 21-yard field goal attempt. And he missed it.
He's talking to his holder a little bit here as he walks off the field, whether or not he got the ball down. Doug Musgrave, the way Tommy Thompson won it. Watch the hold here. Seems to be down okay. No miss. I think just hooked. He knows right away he missed it.
So Wake Forest dodges the bullet. They fumbled on their own 10-yard line, but the Ducks did not score. Well, a rare miss by the Pac-10 kicker of the year, Tommy Thompson. He was 6th in the nation this year in field goals per game at 1.8 per contest, but he missed from 21 yards.
I think the key also is Wake Forest had 3 turnovers, but Oregon's only been able to convert them into 1 score. They may come back to haunt them the last series.
And the ball at the 10-yard line and did not get any points. That pitch is batted down. West had it batted down. Now the Ducks are running it in for a touchdown, but they're going to spot it back at the 8-yard line. You can't run that in. Ernest Jones picked it up. Troy Bailey appeared to be the man who got a hand on the pitch.
We talk about turnovers. That's the 4th turnover now where they've given the ball to Oregon in scoring position. But Troy Taylor, number 56, Keith West got too close on the pitch. Number 14, the quarterback, comes down the line of scrimmage. Number 56, Troy Bailey, never really had the threat of the run or the pitch. He was just able to play both. To come out with his left hand, deflect the ball. Bad decision by Keith West. Bailey tried to recover the football. Now number 40, Ernest Jones, who's second to Stanford's Ron George and sacks in the Pac-10, recovers the ball for Oregon.
Ernest Jones, with most of the Ducks from the state of Oregon or California, went a long way to go to school. He's from Utica, New York. Troy Bailey made the big play. Well, they had it at the 10 following a fumble moments ago and did not score. And now they get it at the 8 and go to Juan Shedrick to bring it down to the 6.
There's Mike McCrary again, number 98. When the ball goes away, they try to cut it back, but Mike McCrary, so good on pursuit, makes the tackle. Wake Forest defense challenged again, Sean, to come up with a big play, keep them out of the end zone, force the field goal attempt.
You saw the graphic, 4 turnovers committed by Wake Forest, none committed by Oregon, but yet Oregon only leads by 3 points with under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Ricky Whittle knocked down after a gain of 1 by the free safety Lamont Scales, number 15.
Trying to pound it in on the left side. You're right, Lamont Scales with a nice tackle from the free safety spot. Now on the 4-yard line, you'd think pass here with Danny O'Neill.
Scales bothered by injuries throughout his career. Bob Brush, the defensive coordinator, said there's been a much better defense this year. You saw the statistical improvement earlier because Scales has been healthy all year. On 3rd and goal, to the end zone, touchdown Oregon, Vince Ferry. Bill Dooley had to know that sooner or later the turnovers would hurt, and Danny O'Neill made it hurt, throwing to Vince Ferry, who just received his first touchdown pass of the year. He will always be remembered by Duck fans for catching the winning touchdown against UCLA in 1990 to propel the Ducks to the Freedom Bowl. Another high snap. This one's blocked by Coghill. And that's the second problem on an extra point for Oregon today. So the kicking game, ordinarily a real strength for the Ducks, has been somewhat of a nightmare. The touchdown pass of 4 yards to Vince Ferry gives Oregon a 9 point. Back at the Independence Bowl, and another problem for Oregon.
Well, look at the wing back on the side, on the right side, the left side here. He's going to be blocking, but he steps down too far inside, and George Coghill, the outstanding corner, is able to come from that side, stretch out, and make the block on the extra point.
He had a little extra time to get in there, too, as a result of a somewhat high snap. There have been a couple of problems on snaps for Tommy Thompson. Steve Cyphers reported to us moments ago that Thompson said on the missed 21-yard field goal, no excuses, he just missed it. Another kickoff into the end zone by Thompson. And again, poor field position to start a drive for Wake Forest with 4 minutes remaining in the first half, and with Oregon now on top by 9. They needed 3 plays after the recovery of the errant pitch, and the touchdown went to Vince Ferry, senior from Granada Hills, California.
20 seconds.
Keith West is connected on his last 5 pass attempts. He's 9 for 12 overall, and he's looking to throw on first down. The quick hitter to Todd Dixon. And once again, here's Steve.
Sean, you alluded to the errant pitch. Terrell Edwards said before the play, West checked off, and the Oregon defense picked up the audible. He says they know what they're calling now when they check off. I don't know if that's true, but it sure looked like it.
Indeed, it did. Keith West, ordinarily right on the money. As a matter of fact, this year he set a Wake Forest record by throwing 122 consecutive passes without an interception. Second down and 3.
Checking off again.
3:15 left in the half. Wake Forest has all 3 of its timeouts remaining, and that was nearly turnover number 5 as Jeff Cummins got a hand on the pass.
In that formation, Sean, the way Wake Forest is playing this, they're spreading out the tight end, so they're really up to only their 5 linemen inside. Oregon doesn't have a lot of respect for their passing game. They're still playing with 7 people in the box, so they're saying to you, you're going to have to throw the football, Wake. We're not going to allow you to run it when you try to spread us out. We're going to make you throw the football.
Third down and 3. West has been perfect on 3rd down today. He got away from Ernest Jones, but couldn't get away from the rest of the Oregon defense, most notably Romeo Bandison, who dropped him back at the 15-yard line.
Well, Ernest Jones, who put the immediate pressure on, as it was said before, second to Stanford's Ron George in sacks in the Pac-10. He just forced him to Romeo Bandison. See the drop back pass. Now watch the pressure coming. There's number 40, Ernest Jones. He just forces it. Never did Keith West have a chance to get rid of that ball.
Mike Green with the punt. Harris has room down the sideline. And Green, the punter, pushed him out of bounds at the 30. Ronnie Harris has done an excellent job returning punts this season. He inherited the job from Brian Brown, who went down for the season in the opener this year with a knee injury. And Harris wound up averaging 11 yards per punt return, 22nd in the NCAA Division 1A this year. And you're told that the injured player is Paul Jensen, number 38, reserve outside linebacker for the Ducks. And as they tend to him, we'll tell you about our upcoming menu of NHL action here on ESPN. Last season, the Blackhawks made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. This Saturday, Jeremy Roenick and the Chicago Blackhawks face off against the Washington Capitals, led by top-scoring defenseman Al Iafrate. Join us for all the action at noon Eastern Time, Saturday on ESPN. Roenick, a terrific forward for the Chicago Blackhawks. A Native American from Massachusetts.
On Oregon with great field position. They have a chance to put a stake in this defense right now because they wore down Wake Forest's defense. The offense and the kicking game has just continually put them in bad field position. And they, up until the last score, they were successful in holding inside the red zone. But now they're giving the ball back to them at the 30-yard line. And this Wake Forest defense needs to come up with an interception, fumble, big play to try to keep their offense in this game.
The last 3 possessions now for Oregon have started at the Wake Forest 10-yard line, the Wake Forest 8-yard line, and this one at the Wake Forest 30. Relatively poor field position.
Well, the special teams of Oregon have been solid all year in their punt returns and kickoff returns. And when you're a punt returner, you have to make the first man miss, and then you get to the picket fence. And he was able to get there, and then Mike Green finally makes the tackle, the punter. Key series for the Wake Forest defense.
Oregon leads by 9, 19-10 with 2.5 minutes to play in the half. Flag thrown as Sean Burwell goes down after gain of 3.
Well, they should pick up a holding call here, so that'll help a little bit.
As always, you are correct, sir.
Seen enough of them in my day. On my team.
One would think they would accept the penalty, but they're talking over the options with Scott Shellhammer.
Holding, gets the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. We'll repeat first down.
Coming up in 2 minutes and 22 seconds, our Duracell halftime report. We'll have an update from SportsCenter and a live report from New Orleans, about a 5-hour drive from Shreveport. Report on the Sugar Bowl, and we'll also hear from Wake Forest's new football coach, Jim Caldwell, talking about his new job. First down at 18 as they back the Ducks to the 39-yard line. Burwell hit right at the line of scrimmage. Up quickly from the secondary, Ron Lambert, the senior cornerback, who's been a starter for the Demon Deacons since his freshman year.
Sean, I know Jim Caldwell very well, and he's not only a good football coach, he's a good person, and he's a good selection for Wake Forest. First knew him when he coached for Ray Dempsey at Southern Illinois, and they won the national championship. Then he went to Louisville with Howard Snellenberg, and of course now Penn State with Joe Paterno. So he's been in good programs, and I know Denny Green had a lot to do with his selection. So we wish him well.
Second down, 19. Blitz coming. O'Neal scrambled away from it, then had a man open and missed him. Overthrew Anthony Jones. It went off his fingertips, and O'Neal's upset with himself for putting just a little bit too much air under that one.
Anthony Jones gave a great effort to try to bring this one in. Just a little bit too far for him. Good job by Danny O'Neal again of avoiding the sack.
A minute 22 to play in the half. The Ducks in possession of all 3 of their timeouts. They lead 19-10. And they have a problem now. Third down and 19 at the 39-yard line. And they hand it off to Ricky Whittle. He got down to the 30. And will set up a long field goal try for Tommy Thompson. Interesting call, but it did move them into field goal range.
Trying to catch the Wake Forest defense napping a little bit, trying to sneak the trap up inside.
Tommy Thompson with a long this season of 56 yards. Less than his only try today. from 21.
Wake Forest going to spend a timeout. Try to make Tommy Thompson continue to think about his kick. Rich Brooks going to get a chance to talk to the officials.
And it'll also give Wake Forest time for another attempt on offense before the half ends. 53 seconds left. They've had problems with snaps, and during the timeout, Jeff Cummins, the defensive end who doubles as the long snapper, has a chance to work on his form. He's been a little errant with some of those snaps.
Well, these timeouts give him a chance to go over and work with Doug Musgrave, number 17. Go off to the side, get a few snaps, talk about it a little bit, wipe his hands off with Doug Musgrave's towel, and talking about it as they go back on. He says, I'm going to get this one right to you.
We invite you to start your football day both Saturday and Sunday right here on ESPN. Join Chris Berman on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern and noon Eastern time on Sunday. Sundays at 7:30 Eastern. It's NFL primetime for all the latest scores, highlights, and news from around the National Football League as the season moves into its most exciting time, the playoffs. That's Saturday and Sunday, game day and primetime here on ESPN. Will be a 48-yard try for Thompson.
One thing you know, they have to be thinking about George Coghill, number 3, coming from the left side.
Blocked the extra point moments ago. It is good. So after the rare miss from in close, Rich Brooks watches Tommy Thompson connect from long range, a 48-yarder, and Oregon has its largest lead, 12 points at 22-10.
Get a chance to see the snap and the hold by Doug Musgrave, number 17. It's important for the holder, get the ball down, get your finger on top, and to tilt it a little bit. Kickers like the ball tilted a little bit, depending on the wind, depending on the type of field conditions, and you saw the little tilt that he was able to give his kicker. Yeah, Rich Brooks says I knew it all the time.
That's right, no doubt about it. Tommy Thompson, no relation to the governor of Wisconsin of the same name.
Didn't know you were into politics.
Really not. But I did know that Tommy Thompson is the
Well, how'd you know?
governor of Wisconsin. Like I know most things in this business, somebody else told me. Well, we get through Wisconsin regularly. Wonderful place. John Leach back deep. .47 seconds left and 2 timeouts for Wake, so they might have time to put something together here. Driven into the end zone, and again no chance for Leach. They kind of stumbled upon Tommy Thompson by accident too. They went to watch his high school team play, looking at somebody else, and saw him.
I thought you were talking about stumbling on the governor. Sean, Wake Forest is not a drop-back passing team, so it's going to be kind of interesting what they do with 47 seconds. I don't think they'll open it up. Now, maybe they will, but I think they just run the ball a little bit or throw a couple little short passes. But because they're not a passing team, they are in a passing formation here. We'll see if they try to use the 47 seconds with 2 timeouts to get down the field for a field goal.
There were 4 receivers spread throughout the field, and that's caught by Bobby Jones. First catch of the day for the senior from Easley, South Carolina, but he did not get out of bounds. So the clock runs down to 35 seconds. They'll go without a huddle.
Again, he was able to roll to the right where he gets a little bit more zip on the ball when he's sprinting to the right. They're not a 2-minute style team and not making great use of this time.
That is incomplete. Intended for Leach along the near sideline. By the time it was thrown, he was nearly under our camera. Third down and 5 yards to go for Wake Forest. First down with 17 seconds left in the half.
You said an interesting thing. You wouldn't be surprised if Bill Dooley coached again, and it's kind of a surprise that he retired. You know, I mean, you can look at that a lot of different ways or read things into that decision.
Well, the word that we hear is that he was not happy with some of the things that were taking place at Wake Forest, and that he decided it was time for him to go. And he would not rule out a return to coaching when we spoke to him yesterday, although he said he has no immediate plans to jump right back in. West intended for Mills, but caught by Juan Shedrick on the Oregon sideline, so they'll have to punt.
Well, that's the problem when you're not a real adapt 2-minute team, and they're not. I mean, they just kind of misfired here. Now you give Oregon a chance to go after your punt on 4th down and to try to block Mike Green's kick.
So then why not fake it? Your last game as coach. Yes, indeed.
It would be your last game ever.
Excellent punt, driving Harris way back to the 24-yard line. Flag thrown, and Harris is thrown down at the 27. Tackled by Walter Rasby, reserve tight end. It was a 51-yard punt by Mike Green. No time showing on the clock. It appeared that the flag was against Oregon for a blocking infraction. And that will likely be the end of the half.
Illegal block in the back against the receiving team. The penalties declined. The half is over.
Unbeknownst to the Ducks, they had huddled. They were ready to go. And Bill Dooley says that's it. And played action in the first 30 minutes, and given that Wake Forest had such a tough time hanging on to the football, they're fortunate that they're only trailing by 12.
We're going to have to make some early moves in the 3rd quarter offensively to get back in this game. Our offense has just not been very solid in the early going.
And Oregon had some difficulties of its own. The coach, Rich Brooks. Let's check in with Steve Cyphers.
All right, Coach, what did you like and what didn't you like about the first half when it comes to the Ducks?
Well, I didn't like the way we played defense early. I didn't like our snapping on PAT field. We've had trouble with that late in the year, and we changed centers, but we've had some problems with that. We had some breakdowns, but the defense took charge with some takeaways, some big key turnovers, and that turned the game in our favor.
Because the importance of, if fans probably didn't know this, but Tommy Thompson, the importance of his punting game in the field position. Field position football is going your way. Was that in the game plan?
Well, it is, because we feel Tommy is one of the best kickers and punters in the nation. We've had some trouble with PATs and that short missed field goal, but the punting was great. His kickoffs were superior, particularly into the win in the 2nd quarter.
Last thing, Coach, have you saved anything for the second half that you didn't show weight?
We do have some plays. I'd like to run them, but we'd like to control the line of scrimmage a little better. We've got a lot of work to do before we can win this football game.
All right, Coach Woods, thank you very much. Good luck to you. All right, back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Steve. Oregon scored its last 10 points of the half without picking up a first down. Indication of the field position they enjoyed late in the half. They lead by 12 at the break. Stay tuned for the Duracell halftime report. Leads by 12 at halftime. The final half of his coaching career at Wake Forest is about to begin for Bill Dooley, and he's joined by Steve Cyphers.
Coach, what adjustments were made in the locker room?
Well, the big adjustment, we've got to quit hurting ourselves. We can't turn that ball over like we did in the first half. If we can eliminate that, I think we'll be all right.
Was there any thought given to changing the audible system? Players on both sides of the ball were indicating that Oregon might be picking up those signals.
Well, I think that they know that we're checking off, but they really don't know what the play is. That wasn't the problem. The problem is turning the football over.
All right, you're going through your last half of football. Is this any different than the first time you hit?
We've just got to do a little better in the second half than what we've done in the first half.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Good luck. Bill Dooley heading out to the field for the final time for 26 years of coaching.
Sean, I agree with Bill Dooley. You know when a quarterback's checking, but unless they've been in that huddle, I'm not sure they know what the play is. They've reacted well, but I just keep thinking about Bill Dooley. What's going through his mind as he comes out of the locker room for the final half? You know, between he and Vince, his brother, who was a gentleman, both of them are gentlemen and very fine football coaches. They put a lot of W's on board, but have influenced a lot of lives. And it's his last half.
Number of Bill Dooley's ex-players came down to Shreveport to see his final game. Chatted yesterday with Ricky Prohl of the Phoenix Cardinals, their outstanding wide receiver. Wake Forest kicks off. Ray Tollison's kickoff goes out of bounds.
The kickoff goes out of bounds. There is a flag.
Illegal procedure. Kickoff went out of bounds by the kicking team. Will be placed on the 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
And the biggest number, the takeaways. Wake Forest turned it over 4 times, setting up 12 Oregon points.
They're lucky they aren't further behind. They give the ball in the field position that they've given to Oregon today. They're lucky they're still in this ball game to fight another day.
Wake Forest's average starting field position, their own 18, due to Tommy Thompson's kickoffs and punts. And Oregon's average start was in Wake Forest territory because of the turnover. 1st and 10 at the 35 after the kickoff out of bounds. Sean Burwell bounces out to the 39-yard line, a gain of 4. Maurice Miller made the tackle.
An advantage for Oregon is the fact that they've been in 3 out of the last 4 bowl games in the last 4 years. Wake Forest first time in a bowl game for many, many years. So maybe they'll settle down a little bit in the second half now that they're in their first bowl. And the half's by the way, and let's settle down now and play football. I'm sure that's what Bill Dooley has told them at halftime.
2nd down along 5. Burwell again. He rushed for 40 yards on 7 carries in the first half. He was thrown down to the line of scrimmage, so 4 yards on 2 carries here in the second half. Kevin Giles, the leading tackler for Wake Forest this year, just a sophomore from Hampton, Virginia, made the play. He started the season with 23 tackles against the North Carolina Tar Heels, the most tackles by a Wake defender in 5 years.
Sean, another important statistic in the first half was 5 out of 8 third down conversions by Oregon. So we'll see how they start this half on 3rd down.
He lost a half yard on the previous play, 3rd down and 6. The Demon Deacons showing blitz, and they do come on the blitz. And it pays off as Maurice Miller spins Danny O'Neal down. First sack of the day for Maurice Miller.
They've given up 45 sacks coming into the game, the Oregon offense, and Maurice Miller, number 97, is able to get to Danny O'Neal. You can't blame that on Danny O'Neal. He just didn't have time to get rid of the ball. See the stunt, number 97, Maurice Miller, comes inside to tackle, steps outside. Maurice Miller gets a clear shot at the quarterback and brings him down with the sack for the Wake Forest defense. A little bit more emotion out of that Wake Forest defense in that series.
Tommy Thompson. Very high punt. George Coghill. Looked like he was tripped. And the Wake Forest sideline was hollering for a flag. A 43-yard punt with plenty of hang time. A 2-yard return. Vince Ferry tripped him up. College Bowl Week continues here on ESPN tonight with the kickoff show at 7:45 Eastern Time, followed at 8 o'clock by the Liberty Bowl as 20th-ranked Mississippi takes on Air Force. Fisher DeVary's Chargers won that game last year. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. is the Hall of Fame Bowl as 16th-ranked Boston College takes on Tennessee. Might that be the last game for Tom Coughlin as coach of the Eagles? He's rumored for the Giants head coaching job. And then it's the Peach Bowl. Mississippi State against North Carolina. All of that right here on ESPN. On the first play of the second half for the Demon Deacons, Wendell Wells, the fullback, powered it out to the 31-yard line. He gained 5.
Wake Forest just needs to drive the football the way they got to this bowl, with a good mix between the run and the pass.
And they started very well on offense, did Wake Forest. Drove down the field in the opening possession and scored. And they've had a first down in quite a while now. Largely because of the turnovers. Intended for Dixon. Here's another turnover. Herman O'Berry. He's recovered 2 fumbles, one of which he ran in for a touchdown. Now he has an interception, his 7th of the year.
Romeo Bandison makes this play, and he made Keith West make a bad decision because he pressured him and allowed the rush to force Keith West into throwing a bad pass. So you're going to see Keith West with a nice fake, but you see Bandison right in the face of Keith West. Never had a chance, threw the ball wildly, and Herman O'Berry picks it off. And again, you got to credit the Oregon defense. They're making things happen. Denny Schuler, the defensive coordinator.
Here's Bandison. There was a flag thrown at the end of the play, and the officials are talking that over.
John, I watched Drew Bledsoe the other night, and I think he's a great quarterback.
Personal foul against the black team after the interception, after the ball is dead. 15-yard penalty, first down.
It was Ben Coleman who was separated from one of the Oregon Ducks, and the flag was thrown at his feet. We believe that is on whom the penalty was.
Well, not only bad enough that you give him an interception, but you tack on 15 yards.
And again, great field position for Oregon as a result of a Wake Forest turnover, the 5th. It's at the 19-yard line of Wake Forest, 1st and 10 Oregon. Burwell into a swarm. Mike McCrary led the defensive surge for the Demon Deacons.
Just talking a little bit about what did Drew Bledsoe, when he played against Oregon, after 3 quarters, they held him to 4 completions, 105 yards passing and an interception. He finished up with only 165 yards passing, so that tells you what kind of defense the Oregon Ducks have. Now the Wake Forest defense, Bob Brush, defensive coordinator, need to respond again. They're back in the red zone.
They lost 2 on first down. 2nd and 12. Opening moments of the 3rd quarter. Oregon leads 22-10. Danny O'Neal with running room. And he goes out at the 14-yard line, chased out by Kevin Cole, the strong safety.
What a great block by Mike DeFonso, number 65. Wake Forest brought the strong safety, Mike DeFonso, with just an outstanding block that really was the springboard for Danny O'Neal to get outside. You're going to see the fake. Now look at number 65 with the block on number 48, Ted Van Hifty. Good block. See him outside. Key play.
DeFonso, as we mentioned earlier, 25 years old, and just a junior college transfer. 3rd down and 5. O'Neal is deflected and intercepted. Flags thrown late, or are those just beanbags? It looks like it's just beanbags, and the interception is for Kevin Cole. The first turnover for Oregon.
Put an asterisk beside this series, because this game's Church is out if they score on this drive, and Kevin Giles.
We have an interception by Wake Forest. Momentum carried it into the end zone. It'll be first down on the 2-yard line.
We'll return to the Independence Bowl in just a moment. ESPN's presentation of the 1992 Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl is brought to you in part by Bud Dry. For a beer that's refreshingly different, try Bud Dry. Welcome back to Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana. Sean McDonough with Mike Gottfried and Steve Cyphers. Oregon leads 22-10, but they had a chance to break this one wide open. Kevin Giles the deflection, Kevin Cole the interception.
Tried to go to Vince Ferry again down there. They scored the last time they threw the ball to the tight end, number 88, Vince Ferry, but this time Wake Forest was up to the challenge. Credit this defense. They've been down there 4 times, and they've only given up 10 points.
Team high 5th interception of the year for Kevin Cole, the junior from Fort Smith, Virginia. His momentum took him in the end zone, but by rule, they give him the ball at the 2-yard line. Really not a great reward for great defensive play. And then John Leach tries to give them some room as he bowls his way out to the 5-yard line. Second and 7 facing Keith West, the senior from Sumter, South Carolina. Really improved this year. Last year he only completed 51% of his passes. This year 56%. Threw 9 touchdown passes last year, 12 this year. He threw 18 interceptions last season, ACC high. Only threw 8 this year. Leach did well just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Again, Herman O'Berry was in on the play.
Talking about Keith West, John Henry Mills, the tight end, told me, he said, you know, he's country. He said he's from Sumter, South Carolina. He said, I believe his favorite entertainer. He said, I said, who is it? He said, Jerry Clown. So, I mean, he really is a Southern guy here now. Romeo Bandison has just become a force at the defensive line. They cannot run the ball inside.
Bandison's second team All Pac-10 selection this year. Wake Forest facing 3rd and 8. 9:50 to play, third quarter. 22-10 Oregon. Out of his own end zone, intercepted, touchdown. Alex Molden walked in. A terrible decision by West. He handed Oregon a touchdown.
Just doesn't get enough on the ball to the left side. He just thrown to the wide side of the field, and we're going to see this, but Keith West just doesn't get enough velocity on the football when he rolls left. He's had problems the whole game on the left side.
4th interception of the season for Molden, the redshirt freshman from Colorado Springs.
See, the ball's on the hash mark, so he has to throw a long way. And he's throwing with all arm. He doesn't get any wrist. He doesn't get any hip action. Just nothing on the football, and Alex Molden gets a gift for the new year.
Really a dangerous play in that part of the field. The quarterback rolling against his strength. And Alex Molden made it hurt. 6 turnovers in a game, the most by Wake Forest this year. They're down by 19. Largest lead of the game, 19 points now for Oregon. They have converted the 6th Wake Forest turnover of the game into a touchdown. Interception return by Alex Molden. It's been a long, difficult day for Keith West. Tommy Thompson will kick off. He won't be getting tired. This one doesn't have quite as much on it. It's returnable to John Leach. Backward pass across the field.
He's got a lane.
John Henry Mills up the sideline. And it's that man Herman O'Berry again to save the touchdown.
That should have been a touchdown. Wake Forest didn't block that well on Herman O'Berry, number 4. They had everything blocked. There's a flag down.
Thrown back at the 35-yard line, right where Oregon kicked off. It's against Oregon. Undoubtedly it'll be declined because the return came all the way back into Oregon territory.
Now, on the kicking team, on the kickoff, penalties declined. First down.
Down 19 points. John Leach, you have to reach into your bag of tricks. Make sure that he has to throw the ball behind him. Bounces it so he can make the easy catch. John Henry Mills, great field position now for Keith West in the offense.
Right at midfield. Flag down. The man in motion. Leach started up the field too early and wins It's a completion to Mills. Down to the 17-yard line. But it looked from here that John Leach, who went in motion, started up the field a fraction ahead of the snap. If it stands, it's a 33-yard gain.
No, I agree with you. I think that one's coming back.
It was right in front of the official on the near sideline. It was right in front of Bill Dooley.
Too many mistakes, turnovers.
On the offense. Replay first down.
See Wake Forest turnovers. They just have had a poor day on offense.
And then some. 6 turnovers converted into 19 Oregon points. And just when they hit on a 33-yard completion to the tight end down the middle, they had the penalty for illegal motion. This is by far the best starting field position for Wake Forest. The previous best, their own 26-yard line. This possession began at midfield. It's back to the Wake Forest 45 after the 5-yard walk-off. Ned Moultrie gets the 5 yards back, +1. Banged down by Eric Castle.
You can see Eric Castle's strength. When he tackles you, he brings a load with him. 208 pounds, and he just belted Ned Moultrie at the end of this play. You like a free safety that can send a message to the running backs and the wide receivers. And there's the message from Eric Castle. Don't come back here again.
Herman O'Berry was there to finish him off. Eric's going to play in the East-West Shrine game, and Rich Brooks will be the head coach of the West squad in the game in Palo Alto. 2nd down and 9. Like West is changing the play of the line of scrimmage. 29-10 Oregon. 8:25 to play, 3rd quarter. He threw that away. He was being pursued by Joe Farwell, who had blitzed from his inside linebacker position.
Tried to, in long yardage situations, force Keith West to make a decision when he rolls out throwing the football. When you have a rollout passing game, Sean, you shrink the field a little bit. You're working in thirds. And that's what Oregon and Rich Brooks and Denny Schuler have been able to make him shrink the field and also pressure him to make sure he throws quickly.
West has thrown 6 passes in a row without a completion.
Look at the left tackle, how far back he is.
No flag down on 3rd and 9. West saw an opening up the middle but couldn't get there. Ernest Jones, the junior from Utica, New York. And Bandison was there as well.
For Ben Coleman, number 79, he tips everybody in the stadium. Look how far back he is to try to block Ernest Jones. He has such respect for his speed. Now Ernest Jones will come underneath and eventually make the play on Keith West.
Ernest Jones said he was looking forward to this game on national TV to prove to all the coaches in the East that they made a mistake in not recruiting him. He was from Utica, New York, and only wound up at Oregon because his high school coach, Art Aselta, was friendly with John Ramsdell, the Ducks receivers coach, and he convinced Coach Ramsdell to give Ernest Jones an opportunity. Nobody has taken advantage of it then some. The 53-yard punt by Green sailed into the end zone, so the Ducks will begin at their own 20.
Happens a lot in recruiting. You make a friend of a high school coach, and when they have a football player, sometimes a lot of times they'll call you, and if you really have confidence in a coach, and I had a lot of high school coaches around the country, you say, if they just called you and said, I have a player, you go with it because you know they know what it takes to play.
Quick toss to Derek Deadweiler. Flags thrown, 2 flags thrown in the same spot. And the Wake Forest players are clapping, thinking that that's a blocking infraction. Now 2 more flags thrown as the call was being argued by David Collinsworth. Everybody's upset. Mike McCrary slams the helmet down. Looked like there are going to be 2 penalties against Oregon, one for the block and one for Collinsworth in the face of the referee, Terry Monk. You wonder if McCrary was flagged for something with his reaction. I think pointed the wrong way.
You're getting confused.
Yeah, he is.
Oregon's on behind you. Wake Forest the other side.
It's been such a great season for Bill Dooley in his last year at Wake Forest. Great to see him this way.
On the offense, that'll be a 10-yard penalty. And we have a dead ball, personal foul against the defense. It'll be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
And apparently it was against McCrary the way he was hopping.
Yeah, I think he was arguing because he felt he was held. That wasn't the holding they called, but he really hurts his team by that outbreak and display because it cost you some big yardage, and it's a mistake to bring him off, let him cool off a little bit. Okay, that's not going to be a great phone call for Mike McCrary.
The result of the penalties, the ball spotted at the 28, 1st and 10 Oregon. Midway through the 3rd quarter, 29-10 Ducks. Shedrick to the 30 for a gain of 2. Willie Hall, who came in to replace Mike McCrary, made the tackle.
Talked to Sean about the accomplishments of Bill Dooley. Gil Brandt, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys, told me that he felt like that Bill Dooley changed the face of the ACC when he went to North Carolina in 1967 into a year-round recruiting program, off-season program, year-round weights, and he just felt like he made such a big change in the ACC. Quite a compliment.
He was the runaway ACC Coach of the Year this year, as you might expect. A team that has picked finished last, was 7-4. Finished tied for 4th in the ACC. Anthony Jones, the intended target, and it was incomplete. Bill Dooley was the head coach at North Carolina for 10 years. Left as the winningest coach in North Carolina history. Was at Virginia Tech for 10 years. Left as the winningest coach. And now 6 years at Wake Forest. He's coached in 10 bowl games. And is the 11th winningest active coach. Active for only another quarter and a half.
Well, he's going to coach in the Japan Bowl, so that'll be his final game unless he gets another coaching job.
Batted down by Willie Hall was the pass from Danny O'Neil. So Hall, who's in from McCreary and who's played sparingly this year, only parts of 8 games, has made 2 big plays since coming in. He's a sophomore from Delray Beach, Florida.
Well, when they go back over this game, Wake Forest is going to be pleased with their defensive effort. Their offense has just put them in some bad spots. You see Willie Hall, 6'2", able to get his hands up on the pass rush and deflect the ball of Danny O'Neil. But the defense has played well.
Without question. Coghill waiting for Thompson's punt. Coghill, one of only 2 players in ACC history to have 1,000+ career yards in punt returns. Slade is the other. A 32-yard punt and no return. Wake Forest goes on offense. When we come back to Shreveport. It's been a very pleasant day here in Shreveport, Louisiana for the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl, particularly pleasant for Oregon. I don't think Tim Brando had too many pleasant days in that building. That is Fair Park High School, which is the high school that Tim Brando attended for 7 or 8 years, we're told. It's just to the left of the stadium. It's Billy Andrade's 7-iron away.
14 years, 12-year education.
It's an impressive looking high school.
Sure, Tim's giving him some money.
Oh, yeah.
Help him out.
We have a Sports Center scoop for that, true. Play action pass on first down. West. Incomplete. Looked like he overthrew one receiver, underthrew the other. It was Dixon where the ball bounced at his feet, but Mills wasn't very far in front of Dixon and appeared to be open. He might have been the target of that pass.
The strength, as you see Keith West, again, he's throwing across his body, just couldn't get enough on it. The inability to run the football for Wake Forest just keeps them throwing the football, and their mistakes, that's not their game. Their game is mixed. Run and pass.
Still a lot of time left. 6:18 remaining in the third quarter. The Demon Deacons need to get something going, down by 19 points. West, after a strong start, has misfired on his last 7 pass attempts. 2nd and 10. They mix in the run, and the Ducks were not surprised. Wendell Wells popped hard at the line of scrimmage. Joe Farwell and Ernest Jones at the bottom of the pile. It's been an emotional year plus for Joe Farwell. His father passed away last January from pancreatic cancer. That illness was diagnosed at the start of the 1991 football season, and Farwell said it was an awful year for him. He was one of the captains last year. Had such a difficult time last season dealing with his dad's illness that he did not play well, didn't behave always particularly well around the program, was not voted as a captain this senior year. But bounced back to be voted a team MVP by his teammates this season with a great performance. And the long dry spell ends for West as he's on the money to Travis Johns, and it depends on the spot as to whether or not that picked up a first down. It was 3rd and 10, and that's just about what Johns picked up.
Good pass rush. Good pass rush by Oregon again on the outside. The offensive tackles, Ben Coleman on one side. They're having a tough time with the rush of Ernest Jones and Terrell Edwards, number 49. They're using quick speed moves and just beating the block of Ben Coleman.
And they're short and by less than a foot. Wouldn't you go for it?
You have to go for it. No decision.
As you said earlier, they're not going to fire the coach if they don't make it.
No, the only thing that could take away from him now is the Japan Bowl. And I think he's locked into that.
And they are going for it on 4th and inches. That was Johns who made the last catch. Was also an interesting story this year. He wasn't supposed to play this year. He had back surgery early in the summer. He reported in August in great shape, and he played all year. Had a big 2-point conversion pass earlier this year in their win over Clemson.
You better make sure they knock Romeo out of there, number 97.
West keeps it, and they're going to give him the first down with the spot out to the 50-yard line. 1st and 10, Wake Forest, with 5:24 remaining in the third quarter, and with Oregon leading 29-10.
Eddie McKeel, the center, number 54, on a quarterback sneak. He knows old Romeo's there. Needs to get a little piece of him, and did just enough to get Keith West the first down.
Keel's done a nice job this year. He stepped in the third game of the year when Mike Siders went down for the season with an injury. He's a sophomore from Vanceboro, North Carolina. And his summer's working in the tobacco fields in eastern North Carolina. West rolled away from the pressure. It was Bandison, as you might expect. And West runs out of bounds with a loss on the play back to the 47. Terrell Edwards was also chasing Keith West, who was a history major at Wake Forest.
The only thing Keith West can hope for is that Romeo Bandison tires out, because he's in the backfield quicker than the snap. This is some football player here, Sean. He's a junior, 6'5", 280, 4'7", 40. He's got speed, he's got quickness, he's got strength, he's got size, he's got it all.
He's actually benched in the third game of the year after not playing well the first two. Played very well the rest of the way. 2nd and 13, ripping through the hole, Wendell Wells. And Herman O'Berry tackles him. But not before Wells picked up the first down for Wake Forest after a gain of 17.
Sean, I know you've been high on Herman O'Berry all this game, and you won't see this tomorrow in the box score, but Herman O'Berry is smart here. As the fullback's giving the ball to Wendell Wells, watch how Herman O'Berry does not allow him to get to the sideline. He uses his block, he lets the sideline, he helps, and he does not let him get outside to contain. Smart play by Herman O'Berry.
Who led the Pac-10 in interceptions this year with 6, and he has one today as well. He's only able to voted to the honorable mention All Pac-10 team. Down the middle, Mills with the catch. Inside the 5 to the goal line, and down inches short of a touchdown. Chad Cota knocked him down as West hits Mills for 35 yards for number 35.
Sean, that's the same play where they hit John Henry Mills before in the motion when John Leach, number 37, went upfield too soon and get called back. This time they just lined up in the formation and they catch him in 2 deep coverage. You see the safety, number 7, Chad Cota, worked the other side. Now the linebacker, number 39, David Massey, has underneath coverage, just can't cover John Henry Mills. Down the middle of 2 deep coverage, wide open, and watch him run over.
First and goal from inside the 1. Moultrie, touchdown.
Go for 1 here, Sean. Try to cut it to 12 points. Good drive now. That's an impressive drive by Wake Forest. And the run set it up. Long run to Wendell Wells, and then this pass to John Henry Mills.
And he came down just inches short.
Good tackle by Eric Castle.
Yes, Moultrie took care of the rest. Now Mike Green adds the extra point. With 3:54 remaining in the third quarter. It is Oregon 29 and Wake Forest 17. As we mentioned a couple of times today, this isn't necessarily Bill Dooley's last game on the sideline. He indicated yesterday when we asked him that he might return to coaching, although he has no immediate plans to. Certainly he has an impressive resume should he choose to get back into the coaching job market. Yesterday, this was what he said when I asked him if he had completely ruled out a return to coaching.
Coaching right now, I'm not thinking about coaching. But there's an old saying, never say never, unless there's an excellent opportunity, then I might entertain it. But not athletic administration, business, public service, what have you. There's just going to see what options are out there.
As Dooley said, he and his wife Marie would like to stay in the Carolinas, in the ACC part of the country. They enjoy living there.
I don't know if the whole story's been told here.
I don't think it has been.
And I think that's something that when you hear a person say, I want to coach, and he has a job, and he's 7-4, and the next thing he's not the coach. And, you know, I just don't think the whole story's ever come out here.
Wade Tollison will kick off. Sean Burwell. Whoa. John Henry Mills went up and over. And Burwell went down at the 23-yard line.
Some players, when the kickoff return team and your kickoff coverage, when they get into a wedge where 3 offensive blockers, you have to have somebody to take out the wedge. You see, here comes the wedge. Now, John Henry Mills is the wedge. Take it out of the wedge. Went right over top, and that gives your other players a chance, because what happens is you absorb one guy with 3. He took the wedge apart.
Best way to get through the wedge is to jump over it. First and 10, Oregon. Wake Forest back in the game with the touchdown that narrowed the Oregon lead to 12. Over the middle, it is caught. Ronnie Harris, the senior from San Jose, the only married player on the Oregon team. He married his wife Christine last spring. And that connection picked up 15 yards and a first down for the Ducks.
Gutsy call by Rich Brooks, because you can feel momentum changing a little bit, so you don't want to get conservative and let Wake Forest get right back in this thing. So he right back with Danny O'Neal on the play action pass, and Danny O'Neal delivered to Ronnie Harris. Good call.
Whistle stops the play.
Wake Forest got a timeout just before the snap.
That could prove costly later as they try to come back.
I have 12 men on the field. Didn't like something they seen on the offensive formation, so they made the timeout call.
Let's check in again with Steve Cyphers.
2 notes, Sean. 1, quarterback Keith West has had the congratulations of everybody on the team, it seems, coming by, trying to instill confidence, saying, way to go, that's the way to play. Quarterback, nice read for the touchdown pass. The other thing, Ben Coleman, the offensive tackle, says they're going to burn the pass rush of Oregon as they give so much pressure upfield with so much speed. But in the 4th quarter, they have some plays to take advantage of that penetration. As they over-penetrate, they'll probably try to go underneath with draw maybe a shovel pass.
Good job. Way to go, Steve. You know, I would like to go back to what you said.
I think
that's right. He doesn't need to have his confidence built. Steve's done a terrific job, as he always does. Keith West better on the last drive of the 3 interceptions heard. I want to go back to what you're saying about more to the story of Bill Dooley, and I think it goes to the issue that we addressed with Ron Wellman. If Wake Forest is going to take athletic and academic reform to the standpoint of football players can't even go in and register for classes ahead of the rest of the student body, so at least they can make sure they can get to practice every day, you're going to have a problem having a competitive football. And that's only one of many things that we're aware of that's happening at Wake Forest. One of the things reportedly Bill Dooley's upset about. Derek Deadweiler, they were not fooled by the reverse.
I agree with you, Sean, but I think the real injustice in college football happens with the assistant coaches, because you have a group of coaches and you have a university like Wake Forest, and I'm not being critical of Wake Forest because it happens all over, but you got a coaching staff and their families here who are prepared for this bowl game. They're 7-4, they're having a happy time, and all of a sudden they're out of jobs. And you look at these coaches, they're working hard to prepare for this bowl game, then the school says, well, March 31st, that's going to be your last pay. That's wrong. I mean, it's just wrong. You talk education, you talk graduation rates, you talk all these things. In the ACC, Bill Dooley's staff did that. They did everything you can ask for them. And I know what you're saying. Well, it's Bill Dooley's decision to retire. for whatever reason. But don't help the assistant coaches a little bit. Give them some pay till July, till they find another job. But I mean, that's Cliff Yoshida down there, Bob Brush, John Gutekunst, Bill Masker. You got good coaches. They took you to a new level. Help them.
Well, one of the coaches that we spoke with yesterday about Bill Dooley's retirement said Bill doesn't mind being a part of athletic reform. He just doesn't want to be 8 years ahead of everybody else and then be expected to compete against them. Over the middle, Burwell taken down well short of the first down. So on 3rd and 13, the Ducks go short and don't come up with it. And you can sense a little momentum shifting to the Wake Forest side. They're down by 12 and will get the ball back.
Sean, you talk about athletic reform, and I think that's all possible, the President's Commission and all that, but still, there's still a problem here. There's 9 assistant coaches, but not only the 9 assistant coaches, the families. I mean, look after them a little bit.
Tommy Thompson. 10 men up on the line for Wake Forest. George Coghill back to return the punt. Under 2 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Another very high punt, and a fair catch called for, wisely so, by George Coghill. 36-yard punt and no return. Again, we remind you about our next National Hockey League offering here on ESPN. It comes your way Saturday at noon Eastern Time when Jeremy Roenick leads the Chicago Blackhawks into the Capitol Center to take on the Washington Capitals. That's Saturday at noon here on ESPN. This is the 17th Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl from Shreveport, Louisiana. Brought about 38,000 on hand to watch Oregon and Wake Forest. Oregon won this game in 1989. And they're trying to win it again in 1992. 1st and 10, Demon Deacons. Just outside their own 20-yard line. John Leach. He may go. Eric Castle has the angle and pushes him out at the 31-yard line. Castle was the only Oregon defender with a chance to catch John Leach, and he took advantage of the angle to push him out.
Steve Seifert made a point early in the game about conditioning, and as you get toward the 4th quarter, you're going to find that conditioning is going to play a big part. Here's a toss sweep to John Leach. You see the penetration by Romeo Brandison. Good block by John Henry Mills, the tight end, number 35, but Eric Castle with a good angle to knock John Leach and save the touchdown out of bounds.
A 48-yard gain. Leach now with 86 yards rushing on 14 carries, including 1 touchdown. Ned Moultrie, he checked in for Leach. Took it to the 30 for a gain of 1, and that's all. As we took under a minute and a half remaining in the 3rd quarter.
They're back to their game now, Sean, because they run the ball. Now you can get mixed and throw the football. The series before, when they scored the big play, was the run to Wendell Wells, number 24. This series, because of the block by John Henry Mills, the big run by John Leach. Now that allows your passing game to open. Keith West doesn't have to carry the load. He can share the load, and that's when they're at their best.
Second down and 9. West got away. And now they're going to whistle him out of bounds. He threw it away, but not before he had crossed the sideline, apparently. Tony Coker, number 43, the man who was in pursuit of Keith West.
When you run a sprint-out passing game, it takes that long to throw it. I mean, you've got adjusted routes and everything because the field, you've only got a third of the field to work with. It just, when you take that long, and you're in ad-lib, you're in busted plays.
It was ruled an incomplete pass. And 3rd down and 9 of coming for Wake Forest. 3 of 10 on 3rd downs today, but as you can see, they've had ample yardage to pick up most of the time on 3rd down. And West uses another timeout, so that'll leave the Demon Deacons with only 1. 50 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Oregon 29 and Wake Forest 17. Sean McDonough with Mike Gottfried and Steve Cyphers back at the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl in Shreveport. 50 seconds left, third quarter. Oregon leads by 12, but Wake Forest is at the 30-yard line of Oregon and looking at a big 3rd and 9.
Keep your eye on the inside receiver, John Henry Mills. Keith West rolling, trying to roll him out to the right, I would think.
He goes toward the end zone for Dixon. Touchdown!
Sean, he put that one right on the money to Todd Dixon. Can't throw it any better than that, Keith West. Got behind Devon Hosey, who's the nickel back. So they brought the extra DB in, had pretty good coverage, had a coverage defense in, but he just underestimated the speed of Todd Dixon. You see, Todd Dixon was able to get away from him at the line of scrimmage. They were in bump and run, man coverage the whole way. Keith West looked over, saw Todd Dixon one-on-one, and threw the touchdown pass.
19th career touchdown for Todd Dixon. Mike Green adds the extra point. That makes it a 5-point game.
When you play bump and run defense like Devon Hosey's going to be trying against Todd Dixon, you got to get kind of a little bit of a push on it. Todd Dixon was able to separate right away, get behind him, and it's a well-thrown pass.
You mentioned 19 career TDs for Dixon. The previous 18 have averaged 40.3 yards per touchdown play. And that one was 30 yards. So when he scores, it's usually from a long way out.
I've had some close bowl games this year. Wouldn't expect it not to have one with you.
You've had a lot of bowl games, too. Ample opportunity to have some close ones.
Trying to earn my letters this year.
Certainly earning your frequent flyer miles. And Rich Brooks knows that he's back in the ball game. What was a 29-10 lead is suddenly 29-24.
Well, he's looking at his offensive play chart because he knows he has to have a series now because momentum has completely switched over to Wake Forest.
Sean Burwell waiting for the kickoff from Wade Tollison. And the senior from Augusta, Georgia, puts the foot to it. It's short. Down to the 10 in the arms of Burwell. And he's down at the 29-yard line. Tim Johnson, the backup linebacker, made the tackle on special teams. He's a freshman from Hampton, Virginia. And he's quite happy about what he accomplished. Burwell is slow to get up. (150-29) in total yards in the second half. Oregon led at halftime 22-10. That lead grew to 29-10, but now it's 29-24.
He has been good mix, run and pass for Wake Forest.
Tim Johnson, during the season as a reserve defensive back, that switched to linebacker. He backs up Scott Shellhammer. This is only the 4th bowl game in Wake Forest history. They've only played in 2, including today's, since 1949. Mike Gottfried was there for the Dixie Bowl loss to Baylor. The Tangerine Bowl is now known as the Citrus Bowl. And he lost to LSU when John Mackovic was the head coach. But Coach Mackovic took a 1-10 Wake Forest team and turned that into an 8-4 year in 1979.
And that was against Charlie McClendon at LSU. Good job Lee Corso tries to keep giving away to everybody in the country.
Ricky Whittle in for Burwell, who was injured on the kickoff. And good yardage on first down for Oregon. Whittle tripped up by Richard Goodpasture. And Ricky made it out to the 37-yard line, a yard and a half short of the first down.
Little drop back pass action. Good block on number 48, Tan Van Hifty. And into the secondary for Ricky Whittle. Now, Sean Burrell's hurt, so Whittle really has to carry the load.
A good block was by Juan Shedrick, the fullback. Whittle again. Bounced off the pile. He's still short of the first down. Maurice Miller and Dred Boo, number 55. Boo was the ACC Defensive Player of the Week for his 10 unassisted tackles against Clemson, and that was the week of Halloween. Only appropriate that Boo should be the Player of the Week on Halloween. 3 quarters in the book. 1 quarter to be played here at the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. And as far as we know, it's not raining. That fan is ready just in case. Big play here. Oregon trying to turn the momentum back in their favor, and they do pick up the first down on 3rd and 1. Sean Burwell injured on the kickoff, but perhaps just had the wind knocked out of him. Back in there to slip up the middle to the 44-yard line and give Oregon a first down, but he is hobbling as he gets up again.
Big offensive line of Oregon just comes off the ball. Good block on the middle guard, Dred Boo. They double-teamed him and knocked him out of there, and that created the seam. Then you see Juan Shedrick, 24, lead Sean Burrell through, but the double team made that play, knocking Dred Boo out of the middle.
1st and 10, Oregon. Ducks lead by 5 points as the 4th quarter begins. They're led by as many as 19. That's dumped off to Whittle. And he's down at the 46, a gain of only 2. Jay Williams, the defensive tackle, number 91. Rudy Thompson, number 92. At the bottom of the pile.
Rudy Thompson, number 92. Good solid football player for Wake Forest on defense. They started him out as an outside linebacker, then made him a rush defensive end. He was an inside linebacker. Now they play him out just outside the tackle, the split inside.
He's the strongest player on the team. Whittle hit by Rudy Thompson. Maurice Miller also there.
Well, Rudy Thompson, they like to go to the split inside. And
it's incomplete. Intended for Ronnie Harris, but he couldn't come down with it. And Wake Forest will get it back. Down by 5, 2 minutes into the 4th quarter.
Well, they brought Kevin Giles on a blitz, and Maurice Miller, number 97, came from the outside to put a little pressure on Danny O'Neill. He knew the blitz was coming, did the right thing, checked off to it. You see the blitz, you see him bring the strong safety, good pasture, number 28. It was blocked well, but I'll tell you, I think when you look back at this film and this tape, the Wake Forest defense has just played super all day.
They committed 6 turnovers, but they're in position now to take the lead if they can drive down the field and score a touchdown. Thompson sails another dandy. Coghill at the 10. And down at the 15. 12:51 remaining in Shreveport. After a 45-yard punt, a 5-yard return, and a flag on the play. Jeremy Asher, very promising redshirt freshman backup linebacker, made the tackle. And the blocking foul against Wake Forest. And that'll back Bill Dooley's charges toward their end zone. The Independence Bowl continues after this. ESPN's presentation of the 1992 Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl is brought to you by Poland Weed Eater and Poland Pro brand products, dependable outdoor power equipment you can count on. One piece of outdoor equipment the fans want at the moment is an umbrella, as it has started to rain. Some of the fans here at Independence Stadium in Shreveport taking cover. This is the first half of a New Year's Eve college football bowl doubleheader on ESPN tonight, beginning with the kickoff show at 7:45. It's the Liberty Bowl from Memphis, number 20 Mississippi against the Air Force. Every year it seems the Air Force goes down there as a big underdog and wins, like they did last year against Mississippi State. John Leach has some blocking in front of him and has the first down out to the 24-yard line. A gain of 16 for Leach.
John Henry Mills, number 35, went in motion and was able to turn up the field and get a block on the strong safety, which opened up the toss play for John Leach. See number 35 go into motion. Now you're going to see him pin the block on number 1, Alex Molden, and that opens it up. And a good block on the outside by Travis Johns, number 89. But again, John Henry Mills, the tight end, making his presence known.
Career high 102 yards rushing now for John Leach. He had 101 against Appalachian State earlier this year.
Looks like they're going to try the same play the other side.
They are. He's looking to throw it. And it's incomplete. Intended for Bobby Jones.
John Leach just a little bit too much on it. Oregon did a pretty good job of defending that play, Sean.
How about the arm on John Leach? He fired that a long way in the air. Our statistician, Pat McGrath, tells us. And that was about 55 yards in the air.
Trying to get a big play to get out of their end zone. You look for players to make plays late in the game to try to win games for you. John Henry Mills, keep your eye on 35 to make the big play for the Wake Forest offense.
12:37 to play. Oregon leads 29-24 on 2nd and 10. Ned Moultrie. They are starting to control the line of scrimmage are the Demon Deacons. Moultrie has a first down out to the 36-yard line. That's a gain of 12 for the junior from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
They're having success with a toss play. Wendell Wells, that time the fullback. John Henry Mills, again, the tight end. They're blocking the corner, Sean. They're sealing everything inside, and they're able to get their tailback, Ned Moultrie, outside. I'd just keep running the play if I was Bill Dooley until they stop it.
Well, excellent production from the tailback spot today. Moultrie with the 35 yards and 102 for Leach. 1st and 10 at the 36. 12:20 on the clock running. Bear in mind, Wake Forest has used 2 timeouts. They have only 1 remaining. West turns it into a gain. He went out at the 39, a pickup of 3. Bandison and Gary Williams in hot pursuit.
Couldn't block Romeo Bandison, number 97. He made the play explode right from the start. Too much penetration on Eddie McKeel, the center. Eddie needs some help on him.
And Ernest Jones humbled by an ankle injury.
You lose the pass rusher when you lose Ernest Jones.
Let's get more on his situation from Steve Cyphers.
Sean, Ernest has a sore ankle. He's had it for a couple of series now. Thought he could play. Said he'd give it a shot, but so far, well, you see where he is. Back on the sideline. Thanks.
And there's the delay for which we cannot account. But now they're ready to go. On 2nd and 7. Now it's Jones' chance to throw it. Dixon is out there. Touchdown, Wake Forest. Flag thrown where Dixon went up for the ball. The question is, did he push off as he was battling Alex Molden for it?
Now I think they're going to call it on Oregon.
The Wake Forest players who are near the officials are celebrating. It's a holding call against Oregon decline, and Wake Forest has come from 19 points down to take the lead.
John, they were looking for a big play. They ran the reverse pass, and Bobby Jones, number 85. Watch the play here as it develops. There's a quick dive, and now there's the pitch by quarterback Keith West. Number 80, Todd Dixon's behind Alex Molden.
That was the reason for the penalty. Molden reaching out, trying to grab Dixon. And he high-stepped into the end zone, his 2nd touchdown reception of the game, 20th of his career from Bobby Jones, the receiver.
And Wake Forest needs to go for 2 points here because with a 1-point lead, they need to take it up 2 more to put themselves a field goal away from being tied by Oregon.
5 catches today for Todd Dixon. That one covered 61 yards. He's up to 166 yards in receptions. He led the Demon Deacons this year with 51 catches. That was the 4th highest total in the ACC.
Sean, they moved the ball just to the left of the middle of the field, which leads you to believe they'll sprint out to the right, maybe throw back to the left side.
Deacons lead by 1. They're trying to take a 3-point lead as they go for 2. And they have the 2. Leach, the reception from West. 32-29 Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons have rattled off 22 unanswered points. Man in the middle, Bobby Jones threw the touchdown pass, and that's nothing new. He connected with Todd Dixon against Duke this year on a 51-yard touchdown play. In that same game, Jones also caught a 21-yard touchdown pass from Keith West. And as far as the people at Wake Forest could tell with their research, Jones the only player to throw a touchdown pass and catch one in the same game. The mood has changed on the far sideline. Quick strikes by Wake Forest. Their last 3 touchdown drives have taken 2 minutes and 31 seconds, 2 minutes and 1 second, and the most recent touchdown drive, 49 seconds. There was a penalty against Oregon on the extra point, and as a result, they're going to kick off from the 45-yard line with Wade Tollison. Apparently, Sean Burwell is still injured because Ricky Whittle has moved back to take his place. Was that good or was it wide?
Sean, credit Eddie Williamson with the good play call, the offensive coordinator for the trick play to get his Wake Forest offense into the end zone. Eddie's going to go to North Carolina as the offensive line coach we talked about earlier, the only coach to get a job on the staff right now, but just an excellent play call by Eddie Williamson. Conditioning plays such a part in the fourth quarter of a bowl game because of the layoff.
Well, it really looked like Wake Forest was starting to knock Oregon back. And Wake Forest was on offense on the last possession. Whittle forward for 3. Mike McCrary, the tackler. 11:50 remaining here, and the clock is running. And at the John Hancock Bowl in El Paso, Arizona has a 10-0 lead over Baylor midway through the second quarter.
We've got a coach over there going out today, Grant Taff at Baylor. Arizona with that great defense.
Arizona the only Pac-10 team that Oregon did not play this year. O'Neal looked for the quick pop, but he was covered. Now he comes back to the receiver, Harris, who's close to a first down. They're going to spot him just short of the 30, it would appear. Inches short of the first down was Harris, an excellent student with a 3.2 grade point average in finance.
Ronnie Harris did a nice job there. The play wasn't there, and then Danny O'Neal tried to pump him to go deep, and he started deep 2 steps and came right back and was able to get open, and Danny O'Neal found him out there.
They are just short, 3rd and inches. 11:22 remaining. Wake Forest leads 32-29. O'Neal picks it up himself. He's a good all-around athlete. Was a point guard in the fine high school basketball program in Southern California in modern day, and is also a low handicap golfer. Mike Bellotti, the offensive coordinator, told us. I don't know if how low. I don't know if he's considering taking Danny O'Neal as a partner and challenging us for a little golf.
Not me, not me. I'd only be a wait for you. But Danny O'Neal scored 22 points in the state championship game, and he came off the bench to do it. So, you know, in basketball, playing a state championship, he's used to this type of action, close games and sports.
Back to the quick pass and nearly intercepted. He was trying to hit Kristen McLemore. Ron Lambert stepped in front and nearly had the pickoff.
They added the secondary this year. John Gutekunst, who was the head coach at Minnesota and then at Tampa Bay in the Arena Football League, and he coaches the secondary. And you see the break that Ron Lambert had on that football. Should have picked it off, but John Gutekunst is coaching his 26th straight game when you take Arena Football, and then he was right there for fall practice and 11 games in the bowl game, so he's probably a little bit tired in press box.
2nd and 10. Back to the ground with Whittle. And he whittled his way out to the 39-yard line.
You almost think he hits a little bit.
Maurice Miller made the tackle. Here's the storyline. If you joined us late, so much has happened, it would be difficult to recap everything. Herman O'Berry has been a key defender for Oregon. He's recovered 2 fumbles, run 1 in for a touchdown. He's also had an interception. The Oregon offense has struggled in the second half, while Wake Forest has scored 22 unanswered points, led by 2 touchdowns from Todd Dixon.
John, keep your eye on Willie Tate, number 87, the backup tight end.
3rd and 4. Big play for Oregon, trying to turn momentum back in their favor. And it is caught, then dropped. Is it a fumble or an incompletion? They're going to call it an incompletion. Willie Tate had it at midfield, then took a hit.
Tried to go to Willie Tate on the little option route, but it was covered well. And Lamont Scales, the free safety, he makes all the calls in the secondary, is able to knock that ball away from Willie Tate, the 6'3", 228-pound sophomore tight end.
Well, that's very close to being a catch and then a fumble. And Oregon recovered it. Whittle out at midfield.
Boy, Oregon needs a punt out of Tommy Thompson now.
And this is high, but very short. Coghill, the running, sliding catch at the 40-yard line. Only a 21-yard punt for Tommy Thompson. 9:57 to play. Wake Forest with the ball and a 3-point lead.
Tackled the defender. Came in motion, ran the toss sweep. John Henry Mills with a tackle.
Still 9:50 to play.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
It's going to be called on John Henry Mills in motion. Watch him just tackle. His arms are out, and that's probably one of the better tackles I've seen today. Herman O'Berry. John Henry blocks so well, he doesn't need to tackle.
No.
I think the defender was so small, he just felt like he wrapped him up.
John Henry Mills, first team All-ACC each of the last 3 years, the first Wake Forest player to be so honored in 3 consecutive years. 1st and 17 now. And another penalty. This has not been a cleanly played contest.
Delay a game here. Another 5.
Dead ball foul, delay of game on the offense, still first down.
Well, they're trying to run time off the clock with a 3-point lead, but they took it to an extreme. Wake Forest, 6 turnovers today. That was their 9th penalty of the day, and yet they lead by 3. With 9:10 remaining, on their last 3 possessions, they've scored 3 touchdowns.
Big plays, Sean. They've been able to get big plays in the second half. Oregon's defense, who's played well all day, gave up too many big plays.
On 1st and 22. You wonder how many times in the history of college football a team has committed 6 turnovers and had 9 penalties and won.
There's still 8:46 left for Oregon to get back in this thing.
And they have an injured player at the moment. With 8:45 remaining, the clock stopped.
What you do now, Sean, up in the press box here, the offensive coaches talking about their next series, when they're going to get the ball back, the good plays that they've had today, and what they can try to do with Danny O'Neal throwing the football in the next series, because they probably will get it back with 5 minutes right around there, unless Wake Forest just takes it the length of the field for a score.
Alex Molden, the redshirt freshman from Colorado Springs, Colorado. The injured player is a national recruit. Everybody was after him. Runs a 4.35 40 as a 38-inch vertical leap. We remind you that coming up immediately following today's game on ESPN, World Championship of Tunnel Boat Racing. All that action coming to you from sunny Cypress Gardens, Florida. Good to see Molden back on his feet.
Sean, 36 teams go to bowl games every year out of the 107 Division I teams, and Rich Brooks has taken bowl teams 3 out of 4 years. So at Oregon, and he's been very effective in the Pac-10. I mean, he's done a nice job, and now to give him the AD job has been kind of a reward.
You wonder how he'll handle it. A lot of coaches have tried. Joe Paterno, I believe, for a while was doubling as the AD at Penn State. And, of course, that got George Perlis in all kinds of trouble at Michigan State. Seemed to be the beginning of the recent difficulties with Michigan State football when he became the AD.
Michigan State's going to be one of the surprise teams next year. Been a good year under George Perlis.
2nd and 20. Again, they're looking for the home run ball, and it is a battle for the ball. And who won the battle? Bobby Jones did. He was there with Eric Castle, but Jones came down with it. 41 yards. Another in a growing list of big plays by Wake Forest.
It's a jump ball with Bobby Jones and Eric Castle, number 12. You get a 6-foot receiver against a 6'2 safety. Now, that's just a jump ball. Offensive guy pulls it away from Eric Castle. Big plays for this Wake Forest offense second half.
Double them made by Jones. At the 29-yard line of Oregon. Back to the ground. Leach didn't get out of the backfield. Terrell Edwards, number 49, junior from Inglewood, California. Baylor has scored in the John Hancock Bowl. It's now 10-7.
Chuck Reedy's the offensive coordinator at Baylor, so he got a touchdown out of his offense, and he'll be the new head coach.
Wake Forest take its time now. Let the play clock tick down. 7.5 minutes remaining. Oregon in possession of all 3 of its timeouts. And they snap the ball with 4 seconds left of the play clock. Ripping through the big hole, Moultrie. 1st and 10, Wake Forest, just outside the 10-yard line. 20 more yards for the Demon Deacons.
Oregon defense looks tired. Steve Cypress talked about it just before halftime. Look at the defensive front. There's a double team on Romeo Bandison. Look at him walk. After he breaks through into the secondary, they're just tired in the defensive line and the outside linebackers. Chad Cota, number 7, makes the tackle.
They can pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown. They're outside the 10-yard line. Moultrie trying to turn the corner. He tripped down. Herman O'Berry chased him down. They were concerned about Herman O'Berry, where the Ducks coach is coming into this game because he's been bothered by a knee strain that was affecting his recent practices. He should give everybody a knee strain.
That's right. He's had a big-time game tonight. He saved another tackle because John Henry Mills blocked the corner again. He had the corner blocked again for Ned Moultrie, and Herman O'Berry was the last man to be able to make that play. But when you can knock them off for 5 yards and 6 yards on first down, I mean, the game's completely changed. They're just controlling the line of scrimmage, Wake Forest offensive line.
We're told that Alex Molden has suffered a knee ligament injury to his left knee, and he will not return. 2nd and 6. Leach down immediately. In the yard. No gain on the play. Under 6 minutes remaining. 5:50 and the clock is running. Bill Dooley and the Demon Deacons lead 32-29. There's a huge difference here between the touchdown and the field goal for Wake Forest.
Big difference. Look for Oregon to blitz here. I look for them to bring some linebackers and to try to make something happen, not allow Wake Forest outside. And I look for Wake Forest trying to get the ball to Mills.
And if Mills flexed out to the right. Option play, Leach. Touchdown. Mike, the play calling by Wake Forest in the second half has been outstanding.
Credit Eddie Williamson and Bill Dooley. And I'm just thinking of one thing here, Sean, as they ran just the option play and kicked it out to John Leach, number 37. The thoughts that are going through Bill Dooley's mind, he's going to be proud of a lot of games he's had, but I don't know if he'll be prouder of a game than he is the way his kids came back in this game after spotting and making so many mistakes in the first half.
Green connects on the extra point. The lead is 10 for Wake Forest. John Leach is having the best day of his career. That's a career high, 111 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Keith West with a fake. There's the pitch out to John Leach. Eric Castle on the inside. Forrest just can't make the play quick enough on John Leach. Too much speed.
At one time, it was 29-10 in favor of Oregon.
Jim Caldwell, the new coach, is going to take over a pretty good football team for Bill Dooley. He's going to leave some pretty good players here.
Bill Dooley is going to leave in pretty good spirits, as you can see, barring a comeback now by the Ducks. They have time, 5:19 remaining, and 3 timeouts.
Key, I think, for Wake Forest in the second half is their ability to run the football. They started running the football. That opened up the passing game and allowed them to get some big plays out of the passing game.
Wade Tollefson to kickoff. Tell that the wind is shifted. And that blew all the way out the back of the end zone. And there's Alex Molden leaving with that left knee ligament injury that we spoke of. Four runs, 4 passes, 60 yards in 8 plays, capped by the second touchdown of the day from John Leach.
That's the mix I'm talking about. 4 runs, 4 passes. They've allowed themselves to get back in the game by running the football.
Now Oregon in a situation in which it has to throw. And it's a completion for a first down and more. Ronnie Harris out to the 48-yard line. Ron Lambert was the last line of defense. A gain of 28.
Ron Lambert, number 20, really makes another good play by the corner. Seen down here at the bottom of the screen, number 20. Ball's thrown at the top of the screen to Ronnie Harris, but now watch Ron Lambert, number 20, does not allow him to get back outside of him. Forces him back inside, then makes the tackle.
Lambert injured on the play, replaced by Brent Moorhead. On 1st and 10. O'Neal. That's a completion. A big hit put on Anthony Jones by George Coghill. And Oregon needs to hurry here as the clock is running. Jones down 2 yards short of a first down. 4:40 remaining.
Good hit by George Coghill, the all-ACC corner. And Oregon has their 3 timeouts remaining, Sean, 4:33. So if they score, you know, they're in pretty good shape in the onside kick and timeout.
2nd and 2. They go to the ground trying to pick up the first down, and they do. First carry of the day for Donovan Moore, the senior from Los Angeles. And the clock will stop as they move the chains. Doug Musgrave signaling in the play. 4:20 remaining. 39-29 in favor of Wake Forest. One scoreboard has it at 33-29. Under pressure. O'Neal with some nifty scrambling to get to the 35 and turn it into a gain.
Rudy Thompson, number 92, with a good pass rush. Maurice Miller, 97. They had the middle screen called. It just wasn't open. Danny O'Neal did the right thing. Only it takes too much time
And Oregon has used its first timeout. They have 2 remaining. 3:58 remaining here in Shreveport. It's a 10-point lead for the Demon Deacons. Sean McDonough with Mike Gottfried and Steve Cyphers at the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. Wake Forest at one time trailed 29-10. They've run off 29 unanswered points to take a 10-point lead.
Sean, a receiver to keep your eye on is Derek Deadweiler, number 8. He hasn't been much of the offense today, but he is a big play receiver for Oregon.
Took a big push into the right side of the field. They'll give up the short stuff. That's good for a first down to Anthony Jones. And again, the clock will stop as they move the chains. Lamont Scales made the tackle, but not before Anthony Jones gained 13. Again, no huddle. Bob Brush, the defensive coordinator you saw. The right of your picture. Bill Dooley's left. With Thompson in his face, O'Neal stepped back. Now he's down.
He used a timeout.
Jay Williams at the bottom of the pile. Mike McCrary also there. They are not using a timeout. 3:28 in running remaining.
Take a lot of time, Sean. But if they score, I think they'd go for 2, and then the onside kick. Still alive.
Second down and 11 is deflected and short of Ronnie Harris. 3:09 remaining. 2 timeouts left for Oregon.
Detweiler only has 1 catch today, though. He's 5'9", 165-pound junior.
Coming up tonight, this Thrifty Car Rental Bowl week continues here on ESPN. It's the Liberty Bowl from Memphis, number 20 Mississippi against the Air Force. It starts at 7:45 Eastern time tonight. Good way to ring in the new year. It's been a dandy as well. 3rd down and 11. He didn't get the play off in time. 3rd down and 16. They'll back it up to the 29-yard line. Like when O'Neal got to the line, he was signaling with his hands to the receivers, and that cost him some seconds. They failed to get the snap off. Third down and 16. He's hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Kevin Giles, the linebacker, came on the blitz and hit Danny O'Neal, causing the pass to fall well short.
Now, thought here with 4th and 16, you take a field goal here, then onside kick.
Well, I think that's why the last penalty really killed them, because it brought them back 5 yards further. Instead of being a 41-yard field goal, now it's about 46 into the stiff wind.
I think you still have to kick the field goal here. You have to kick it, then onside kick. You still have a chance to win the game with a 2-point conversion if you score the touchdown now or later.
This is going to require all of the strength in Tommy Thompson's leg and bare foot, because it's 46 yards into the wind. Out of the hold of the backup quarterback, Musgrave. Blocked! George Coghill blocks it again.
They haven't blocked him all day on the punt return, on the field goal attempts. Excellent job by George Coghill.
Jeff Cummins turned around and say, hey, there's nothing wrong with that snap. And I wonder, because of the snap problems that Rich Brooks talked about with Steve Cyphers at halftime, if Thompson's a little slow getting to the ball.
You're going to see it here, the snap. Doug Musgrave putting it down.
He's real slow, Mike. He wasn't even in movement when the ball was handled by Musgrave.
But I think they're making a mistake on the right side. They're not getting any kind of helmet or arm on George Coghill over there on the right side. I mean, he's just coming free off the corner. And it's just an easy shot for him to get him to block the field goal.
Wake Forest with the ball, with a 10-point lead with 2:58 remaining. Oregon has 2 timeouts left. Ooh, Leach had to catch the pitch. He's thrown down by Bandison. And Oregon uses the quick timeout, leaving the Ducks with 1. We'll be back for the final 251 of the Independence Bowl in just a moment.
Why, everybody.
51 to play here in Shreveport. Oregon left with one timeout now. And Wake Forest facing second down and 11.
Well, they'll just keep running the toss sweep because it takes so long to run. Run so much time off of it. Here it comes again. Just don't go out of bounds.
And Leach did not go out of bounds. Late flag thrown. These officials are all going to have shoulder tendonitis.
There's some strong arms coming out of the Big East, though.
These guys have done a good job. Well, they've been kept busy. This game is past the 3.5-hour mark with all the penalties and turnovers, the holding call. But if you're Oregon, you stopped them well short of the first down. If you take the penalty, you give them an extra down to run time off the clock. Don't you have to gamble? You can stop them here on third down.
3rd and 5, I think you turn it down.
Yeah, you have to. That's what Rich Brooks is saying. We don't want to let them run another play with 2:44 remaining.
No, the clock won't start until they snap the ball.
Holding on the offense. Penalties decline. Be 3rd down.
Well, that's a break for Oregon.
Well, the clock is moving now.
Set the ball for play. Arizona's added a field goal to lead Baylor by 6 at halftime in the John Hancock Bowl. 3rd down and 5.
We'll see another toss sweep probably to the top of the screen.
This did get the play off. Moultrie came to the near side and is stopped short of the first down. Oregon wants to use its last timeout. Rich Brooks signaling frantically. His players don't see him. And now you hear the whistle, and that's why Rich Brooks is a little frustrated. I believe none of the 11 on the field saw him jumping up and down for 5 or 6 seconds trying to get their attention. No timeouts remaining for Oregon with 2:03 left.
Well, you always alert someone on your defensive team to look over to the sideline right away if you want to spend a timeout. You designate a couple players to say, look to me and I'll give you a signal whether I want the timeout or not, but they didn't look, didn't see Rich Brooks.
Todd Dixon, that's the leading candidate for player of the game honors. 166 yards and receptions, 2 touchdowns, helping to lead the comeback here in the second half. And Danny O'Neill will have one more chance, but his team is down by 10. They need 2 scores with 2 minutes remaining and no timeouts. Collison just wanted to get it off without a block. He accomplished that goal, but the ball didn't go very far. It's out of bounds at the 39-yard line, an 18-yard punt. So 1:56 left and no timeouts for Oregon as they take over at the 39.
Now you got to use your no-huddle offense and start throwing the football. He's making 2 plays over on the sideline for his offensive football team. Use the clock now.
And to make matters worse, they're going into the wind, the Ducks. Very few of the patrons left. Flag down. The receiver on the near side, Derek Deadweiler, started up the field ahead of the snap.
Dead ball foul. Illegal procedure by the offense. They were in the neutral zone before the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Going horse.
He is. World Championship of Tunnel Boat Racing coming up immediately following this one. Oregon has now been penalized 5 times for 50 yards. Wake Forest 10 times for 103 yards. We're going to put some time back on the clock, I think.
seconds.
Yes. First and 15. That's caught for a first down by Anthony Jones. They'll stop the clock as they move the chains. Tim Johnson, Kevin Cole, the tacklers. The gain of 15. Deadweiler dropped it as Tim Johnson was closing in on it. 39-29 Wake Forest. A minute 43 left. No timeouts for Oregon.
On that route, Sean, he had Anthony Jones, number 18, behind Derek Deadweiler, but he decided to throw the ball to Deadweiler.
It's probably a blessing for Oregon that he dropped this, because he was going to be tackled inbounds and well short of the first down, so the clock would have continued to run.
And you see Anthony Jones behind him. He's open on that play.
Second and 10. Over the middle. That's caught. Harris trying to get to the sideline. He's down at the 32-yard line. That's a gain of 14 for Ronnie Harris. Cole and Coghill, the tacklers. A minute 35 left.
Wake Forest is trying to keep everything in front of them. Make them spend time.
To the sideline. And they will spot him out of bounds. Vince Ferry went lunging for it. And the officials say he was out at the 25. And Rich Brooks is saying we can huddle because he went out of bounds.
You practice the 2 minutes on both sides of the ball. Your offense, you're working on Thursdays. Usually try to work it every day a little bit. The Thursday's a big day that you work 2 minutes, and your defense is used to it. So they've been in this situation before. They know what their coaches want.
Wake Forest leads by 10. Oregon on the move in the final couple of minutes. Second and 3. O'Neal. Complete. First down. 10-yard line. Anthony Jones. 15 more for Oregon. Ron Lambert made the tackle. And the clock will stop momentarily as they move the chains. A minute and 15 showing.
Not much of a pass rush. They're not blitzing. They're laying back in zone coverage. They're not getting much of a pass rush at all.
And throws it in the ground to stop it with a minute and 11 left. It's time to tell you about our STP player of the game. He is Todd Dixon of Wake Forest University, the junior wide receiver from Billerica, Massachusetts. Led the second half comeback with 2 touchdown receptions, 5 catches in all for Dixon for 166 yards. He was not highly recruited out of Governor Dummer Academy in Massachusetts, a private school. College coaches thought he would play against very good competition in high school. Second down from the 10-yard line. They blitz this time to the end zone. Touchdown! Great catch in the corner by Ronnie Harris. And George Coghill can't believe it.
Boy, great catch. And now you got to go for 2 points, I think. Put yourself in position to win the game on the onside kick and a field goal. What a pass by Danny O'Neal. Ronnie Harris, number 81, working against George Coghill, number 3. Ball's thrown well, and Ronnie Harris comes back to the football. Wow, that ball hit on the ground. I'll tell you, that was very, very close. Good catch by Ronnie Harris. Good speed receiver. Going for 2, Sean.
O'Neal. The back of the end zone, incomplete. Coghill broke it up. It was intended for Deadweiler. So the last chance now for Oregon is to recover the onside kick.
Well, now that all that means is they have to score a touchdown with 1:05 once they recover the onside kick. If they can do that successfully. A lot of people probably watching are saying, why do you get to prevent defense? and let a team go the length of the field? That's a question everybody always asks, but what you're trying to do is always keep the ball in front of you and make time, but the completions were too far down the field.
Yep.
And they didn't get any kind of pass rush. Every now and then you got to try to send a linebacker or try to send somebody from the outside. You try to speed up the throw a little bit, but when you do play man coverage, of course, you're man-to-man and chance of the big play. You take away the big play with the 2-minute defense, but you can't allow the completions down the field like Wake Forest did on that series. In Oregon, pretty good 2-minute offense. It looked pretty effective moving the football in a 2-minute drill.
Well, it comes down, as has been the case a number of times today, the bare foot of Tommy Thompson. And he bounced an excellent onside kick that allows Oregon a chance to recover with 1:05 remaining. 39-35 Wake Forest.
What you try to do in the onside kick, Sean, is you got your group of players, Oregon, that you're going to try to get down and knock everybody down, and then you assign 2 people the ability to go for the ball. So you want speed to try to knock people out, and then a couple people to go after the football.
Going back to the first half, Thompson missed the 21-yarder. Not a bad snap. A lot of character for him. Well, looms large as one of many big plays in this game. It gets the big hop, and it's fielded by Wake Forest. With the good hands team in there, Danny Jackson, the backup defensive lineman, made the play.
Well, you know he has to have good hands to put a defensive lineman on your good hands team. He's the player that makes the play. As important a play is going to be made today. Pretty good onside kick. There's the bounce you want. Just got there a little bit too soon. Handled well by Jackson.
Now, barring a fumble, Wake Forest is going to win the football game. No timeouts left for Oregon. So a tough loss for Rich Brooks as he tried to win the Independence Bowl for the second time in 4 years. He had a 29-10 lead and watched it slip away. He'll head on to the East-West Shrine game as the head coach of the West squad in Palo Alto in January. And if this is indeed Bill Dooley's final game as a college head coach after 26 years, it is certainly one that he will never forget.
Special team when you win 8 games. Wake Forest, great year. Bill Dooley's going to go out with great feeling. Assistant coaches feel great about themselves. The entire team. Big win for Wake Forest.
Wake Forest wanted to make sure it took one more penalty before the game ended, just to prove you could win with 6 turnovers and 11 penalties. And took a delay of game call. Now one more snap. It's going to be a long flight back to Eugene for Coach Brooks and the Ducks. The season will end at 6-6. And the final season for Bill Dooley at Wake Forest will end at 8-4 with a bowl win. Remind you to stay tuned for the World Championship of Tunnel Boat Racing coming your way from Cypress Gardens, Florida. The final score of the 17th Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl, Wake Forest 39, Oregon 35. Bill Dooley goes out as he should go out, a winner. Now for Mike Gottfried and Steve Cyphers, I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana.